Alrighty, welcome people. Oceans, you're already here. What's up, my dude? How's it going? Um, I woke up like this. That's pretty much my mood right now. Um, but yeah, today we're on the topic of window managers and desktop environments. Fun stuff. And I actually heard of a new window manager, which is a sliding window manager that I also want to talk about today too, to see if anyone else has used it. But let's move on over. My beautiful face. Except the mouth is open all the time. Why is your mouth open all the time? There we go. Nice, I'm doing well too. Great. I'm always happy when y'all are doing good because when y'all are doing good, I'm doing good. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, when y'all are doing good, I'm doing good. I know he's so surprised because we're doing this little tier list today. I've been waiting on this one. Been waiting to do this tier list. We got a choice from like 16 different window managers, desktop environments. And then this one, I don't even know how I would rank it. I would probably rank it's not on the list. You're not going to find it on this list, but there is a window manager out there called Neri, I think is what it is. Now, that one is interesting. Do I like it? Not really, but I know a lot of people who would, and I would actually recommend it to some people. I just personally don't like it because it's a scrolling window manager. So like imagine instead of having like 5 programs open at once on a workspace, like it's a continuous workspace. Like it's just one long workspace. But it's like so you get 2 windows, and then when you open another one, it slides the other one over, and then it slides the other one over. The more you add, it just slides them over, and then like you can move back and forth between them. So it's kind of like having a open, I guess, how would I word it? You know how like on iPhones and Androids, like you get these, like if you double tap on the button or you pull up the list of apps, like you can get rid of them, but they're just like you scroll over one and you see all of them that are open. Like that's kind of what it reminds me of. I don't know how to well explain that. But yeah, so glad you could join us today, Oceans. We're just gonna see how this goes. I want to give everyone a few minutes to kind of get in here before we start this tier list. Kind of, after all these people that started coming in and watching me, I'm kind of sad that we didn't cover distributions like then. But, we have you guys here now, so that's, I get, what's more important. So let me think of any other window managers or desktop environments that aren't going to be covered. And like half of these, I don't even know what half of these are. I do know a majority of them though, or at least half of them, I would say. Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I know. I know at least half of them. Um, I don't know. I guess we'll just start, and then like people can like comment on it. Oh, you can't tell what the second one is? The second one is Sway. That one I do believe is Sway. Also, the sixth one. The sixth one is Awesome WM. So I'm just gonna pick from random, sort of. Um, the first one I'm gonna talk about is XFCE. I think because some of these other ones are way too easy to talk about. This one, however, gets on my nerves. This XFCE. The only time I've ever had to use it was for T2 Linux. I'm trying to think of some other things I have to really talk about it. But let me just put it to you this way. This is going in the I'd rather use Windows. Anything with XFCE will make me uninstall really quickly. And it's mostly because of T2 and T2 Linux. Even though T2 Linux is not a distribution that's known for being able to have like a desktop environment or whatever, I was still able to install like a desktop environment on it. And then the only choice that I had at the time was XFCE, but I looked at it. It is ugly as sin. Um, I don't know if there's anything else I can say about it. I'm trying to figure out like what the next one would be that I'm going to talk about. So here's the thing about DWM. I guess we'll talk about DWM. DWM. Oh, let's see. Theming XFC is really important to make it good. Yes, I would agree. I would absolutely agree. Like, to me, it is a pain to do, but if you can do it, like, kudos to you. But, like, for me, I don't know if it was just the fact that I didn't spend enough time in it or what it was, but I was not able to customize it the way that I wanted to. And so it was just a horrible experience all around. Okay, yeah, so DWM, if I'm not mistaken, uses suckless technology. So I'm just trying to figure out like where I want to put that, because I don't think it's as bad as XFCE, because you can customize it, but it's a matter of if I want to. And so for that, I would say that DWM goes in F tier, or at least for now it does. Someone can change my mind at any point with that, but I don't see it being changed. i3, I guess, is the next one we'll talk about. I don't have a lot of experience with i3, but I do believe that Awesome WM is a fork of i3. If I'm not mistaken, if I am, someone please correct me, because I don't remember all that well in regards. But if it is the case, then I would say i3 just kind of, it's mid tier for me. Like, because there's other choices that I have, it wouldn't be like my first choice. Let's see. Let's get some of these other ones out of the way. Hyperland, obviously going S plus tier for obvious reasons. I'm able to customize everything and then more with my system. S tier, I would say Awesome WM gets the S tier. It doesn't get S plus tier because it's X11, and quite frankly, it's not nearly as good looking as Hyperland and Waybar, but it is something I would recommend if you are on X11. So for that, it does go on S tier, but just because it's X11 doesn't mean anything. Like, it's still pretty good. Sway, I think, is the next one we'll talk about. Sway is like, if I don't have anything else, I think. Like, if I'm on Hyperland and I don't want to go to Neri, yeah, maybe I would use Sway. So Sway would probably go mid tier. I don't know. I just think that it also doesn't quite do as much as I would like for it to do. Even though you can use Waybar in it. That is a good plus. But, like, for example, I wouldn't just use it. I wouldn't just use it over, like, Awesome WM. I think I would go with X11 before I went back to Sway, maybe. GNOME, probably going to get a lot of flack for this. We're going to stick GNOME in the A tier. It's not as good as the window managers up here, but if you want something that's tried and true, you'll go with GNOME, and KDE follows along with it. But here's what I will say about mid tier. If we're putting them in order, I would recommend Sway before I would recommend i3. I believe I would. So, I mean, so far, this is looking all right. Cinnamon, I'm going to say will also go in the A tier. Simply because Linux Mint is like the most known for using Cinnamon. And because I recommend Cinnamon, I would also recommend, or because I recommend, what is it? It just lost me. Oh, Linux Mint. Just because I recommend Linux Mint, I also recommend Cinnamon. So not too bad. And every one of these other ones I don't really know them all that well. I'll stick them somewhere. Like I know about Budgie. I think this is Elementary OS maybe. Ice WM I have heard of. I haven't really used it. I would put KD in S, but I understand your point. Yeah, for me, I think it comes down to how I use uh the desktop environments and window managers. Um, I don't know. I think when I started making this tier, well, I didn't really make this tier list. I edited what was there, but when I started editing, I probably should have had like S tier and then A tier, then mid tier and then F tier. Because if I didn't have S plus tier, then it would have been like Awesome WM probably would have been an A tier too, for that matter. Because, well, no, it would have been an S tier. Like, I don't even know why S plus tier is on this, but that's how it come. So, I don't know. If you want something that's tried and true, that's usually what I would consider A tier. Something that's like really good. It's not superior in the sense of like customizations and what you can do with it, but I don't know. It's still pretty good. What's in the current S plus tier? It is Hyperland. Also, welcome to the stream. So glad you can make it. Let's see. Ice WM. You can remove lines on the tier list, I think, maybe. Oh, yeah, so I can. I can delete the row if I wanted to. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that, as a matter of fact. Just go ahead and get rid of the S plus tier. And for this one, let's use red. Then orange, yellow, green, blue, and then purple. Just get a whole rainbow going on here. Nice. You're welcome. So yeah, so that's what it looks like so far. That we have here. Ice WM. Yeah, basically, I've never heard of these other ones. Or I've never used them. So, in fact, never heard or never used. But Ice WM I have heard of. So that did not take long at all. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer because I thought I would have more to say about all of them. But basically, window managers and desktop environments are what we're talking about today. So, if you have any personal thoughts on what's great, do let me know. I think what's really good is, or not really good, but, well, I mean, I guess it is for some people. I think Neri is kind of special. Yeah, I think it is. It's different. In fact, I wonder. Let's go to a new tab. And let's say Neri. Scrolling, tiling, window, manager. I guess the GitHub? See, we got some pictures of, or we got a picture of it here. I'm not entirely sure what that bar is there, but this is how the scrollable tiling Wayland compositor works. I forgot, with Wayland you have to call them compositors generally. You don't really call them window managers, but same difference to me. I like LXDE/LXQT as they are just low resources desktop environments. I wonder if that was on the list, because if that was on the list, we could probably bump it up. Because LXDE, I don't really know much about it, but I do know that there are some environments out there and managers that are great for minimal resources, and they should also have a place on the list. But like, this is one that I found interesting. I probably wouldn't use it, but like, you get dynamic workspaces like in GNOME. Probably not that interesting. Group windows into tabs. Oh, they got animations too. They are arranged in columns. So here's the thing about what it's about. So Neri has their windows. They are arranged in columns on an infinite strip going to the right. Opening a new window never causes existing windows to resize. So like, basically, they're saying that it's like, from what I understand, they're saying it's like Hyperland, but with like just this infinite strip that just never resizes. In fact, they've got this video that we could play for a minute, I guess. Okay, so it was heavily inspired by PaperWM, which implements scrollable tiling on top of GNOME Shell. Okay. You can also get this with hyperscrolling and hyperslider, which is scrolling or scrollable tiling on top of Hyperland. So that's interesting, because you can also do it with Sway and i3. Wait a minute, I just thought about something. Hold on a minute. I've got them. I've got those suckers side by side, dude. They're mid tier, dude. I use LXD on my media center to run Kodi and stream Steam from. Oh, nice. Also, welcome back, Ghost. Glad to have you here. But yeah, I would say LXD is great for, like, simplicity. LXD, yeah, well, that's the thing about having, like, minimal managers and desktop environments is, like, if you go minimal, chances are you are going for something that looks kind of old. And that's what XFCE is like for me. It's just something that looks really old. I think they were on the list. I'm not sure. Never heard of Neri before. The concept looks interesting. Yeah, so you can, apparently you can also do this with Hyperland. Would I do it? No, because I like the idea of having like 4 or 5 tabs in or 4 or 5 windows in a workspace, and then I just go back and forth between them. I don't like the idea of like having to do this infinite scrolling business. But like, I can see why other people would like it. It's like XP. Yeah. No, I get it. I understand. Yeah. It does kind of make me think of that. Let me see what let's see. What is it that we're talking about? LXD. LXDE. Oh, Lubuntu uses LXDE logo. Let's see what LXDE looks like. Oh, that is this one right here. All right, so let's change that a little bit. I feel like if you want something that's minimal, I mean, I guess it's not really. Ooh, it's between mid tier and F tier. What am I gonna do, you guys? Mid tier and F tier. It's like choosing your favorite child. Oh, Lubuntu is LXQT. I think, I'm not sure. Well, see, here's the thing. So my work actually uses Lubuntu, and I find it interesting because like there is no I guess taskbar on it. I mean, I guess there is a taskbar, but it's not really practical for like using it for anything other than my work. But I don't know. I always find it interesting that like, because like I've never worked at a job where we use Linux, so it's been interesting. What is the symbol next to Hyperland? That is awesome WM. Also, welcome to the stream. We are happy to have you here. But yeah, I'm gonna say for now, yeah, I don't know, let me see what it looks like first. We got a picture of LXD. You guys, I don't know if I want to do that. Thank you, just listening while working. No worries. We are still glad to have you. Doesn't matter. You guys, I gotta put it in F tier. I'm sorry. I know. I got to because like he's not really that customizable for me. That's what's important for me. I don't know why it's next to DWM because DWM, the reason that I put it in F tier is because it is customizable, yes. Do I want to compile every module and every little aspect of it? No. I don't want to spend my time doing that. That is for the birds. I know, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, Budgie. Let's take a look at Budgie. Let me see if I can put it somewhere. Oh yeah, now just get a bunch of birds. Because let me see if I can just. Can I put it anywhere? I guess this would be your desktop environment. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could put Budgie in mid tier. It's probably not that customizable, but I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. I guess it's just there. And then I'm assuming that this is Elementary OS or Elementary. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what these other ones are, as a matter of fact. Well, IceWM I have heard of. I would probably I don't know, I'd probably put IceWM probably is F tier too. I don't think I would put it mid tier. Probably not. And then these other ones I just haven't heard of. Budgie is mid in my opinion. I would rather use KDE or any. Yeah, absolutely. No, I get it. You aren't a Linux user unless you spend 90% of your time chasing a 3% performance increase and the other 90% of the time rising it. I get your point. I mean, pretty much I look for that performance increase and then I end up tweaking and stuff. Like, that was the thing about these optimizations that I did. When I did all these optimizations to my computer, I noticed that, like, my load time was nothing when it came to reloading the Waybar. And so it was just it's been really smooth since I made these updates. It is crazy how fast my computer will go. Still can't run certain things at 60 FPS simply because of my graphics card. But, I mean, it works. It works like it's supposed to now. And this is why I'm trying to save up for a good laptop. The only thing is that I was researching last night, and I'm not sure what my next computer should be, because I definitely know that it needs to have a good graphics card in it. Like it needs to have a good GPU in it. But it has to also be a laptop. I can't go back to desktops. I mean, I could, but I just I'm trying to sell my old desktop at the moment. But I just want something that I can carry around with me, if you know what I mean. Yep, just taking a little moment of a break. Which OS do you suggest with Hyperland? I want a stable OS which I can use for the rest of my life. Okay. Okay, that is a challenge. That is a challenge because usually when you're being recommended Hyperland, you're using like bleeding edge software. So like for stable, I don't I don't know about stable. I know about, well, I think, okay, so let me just tell you what I'm using right now. So I'm using CachyOS. That is great for like well, I guess a little bit of stability, maybe, possibly. I would say that it's more about performance and optimizations, though. But I think it's really good. I use a cheap Acer with 4 gigabytes of, oh man, 4 gigabytes of DDR5. And then you use an N200, which is i3 processor. Then stream games from the media center. Yeah, I don't know much about the media center. You may have to explain a little bit more. But I use a N100, and I've got 16 gigabytes of, I think it's DDR5 RAM, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I know it's 16. I just don't know if it's DDR5. And then I got a terabyte for a hard drive, but it's a SSD. I use Hyperland on Debian Trixie. Okay, let me change my opinion then. If you want something, I mean, here's the thing. Debian is known for being stable. However, we are talking about Debian Trixie. Okay, we're talking about something that can break eventually. So like taking that into mind, maybe use Debian with Hyperland. But just know that even though Debian is stable, you might break something if you install, if like install goes wrong or something like that, or like I don't know, because I guess my experience is a little bit warped because it's warped for me because of the time that I went from Debian stable to like Debian SID. I went to Debian SID from stable, so I tried to upgrade all the packages, and I was always conflicted in packages. Like Wine would just not update because there was always two things that were in conflict with each other constantly. So I would say, I guess the takeaway from that is don't try to just upgrade your system from stable to that. Like just wipe you would have a better time wiping your install and then just installing Trixie or SID from there. Thank you for the reply both. Oh yeah, you're welcome. I don't know. Like it also depends on if you want a rolling release or not. Like that's gonna depend a lot on it. Trixie is in package freeze and will be released as stable in a few months. Oh, okay. Yeah, because SID is always going to be SID. But then you got Trixie, which is like the next one coming up soon. Why CachyOS and not EndeavourOS? I was, when I first started back on my YouTube channel and I started streaming again, I was being recommended left and right to go with CachyOS, and that was because of performance and optimizations. That there were a lot of different things that would make your system like do this and that. And with EndeavourOS just wasn't really recommended to me as much. CachyOS was just, the reason why it was recommended to me so much was because people were noticing that I needed something that was like more optimized and more for performance. So they recommended that I go with CachyOS. And I think I keep getting this mixed up. So if you would like to correct me, please do on this matter. But I think EndeavourOS is not Arch based. CachyOS was Arch or is Arch based. So that was another reason why I went with CachyOS. But having said that, even if I'm wrong about EndeavourOS was not really recommended to me as much. So that's why I use CachyOS. Citizen stable and not recommended for daily use. Yeah, see, I went into that knowing, I went into it knowing that, it was not recommended for daily use. What I was trying to do was I was trying to get a working environment or a working system that like would let me install the latest OBS Studio. And I don't know, I just, when I tried to update, I had a bad time with it, and then I kind of didn't look back at Debian. But with that being said, I still recommend Debian. But I recommend stable. I don't recommend anything else, really. Having said that, if you do want something that's a little more bleeding edge, I would go with Trixie. But, okay, so it is Arch-based. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, we could do a search for, like, I could do a search if I wanted to for whether or not, or like what's the difference between CashOS and EndeavourOS. I don't know. I guess for me, like I said, like here's the thing. Um once I got into CashOS, the thing about it is that it has its own repositories, and it has its own kernel. The kernel is optimized for performance. The the packages, I love the way that the packages work. I love the fact that they're using fish, like right out of the box they're using fish. It has made my life simpler in the terminal. And I'm trying to think of some other things that I like about CashOS. But yeah, at the moment, that's all I can really think about in terms of that. Um, yeah, no, I think that's it. I think someone might argue that you could probably get the same things out of, that you probably get the same things out of, like, any distribution. I would argue though that like not every distribution can be done that way though. Like there was one that I reviewed on the channel at one point, which was, which I don't know what they're like now, because I don't know if I got kicked out of the server or if they stopped having the server completely or what, but like I never heard back from the people at Orion, but Orion did not really have a, like they didn't have their own repository. They were based off of, I want to say they were based off of Fedora. It's either they were or they are now based off of Fedora. And so yeah, I don't know. It would be nice to take a look back at it. Oh, Pagarino, welcome back. Have you thought about NixOS? I have thought about NixOS. I have. The thing is that I don't want to deal with a bunch of package managers. I I feel like the Arthropod, the Pac-Man manager and stuff like that is where I'm at with things. That's where I would rather be. Yeah, just NixOS is very different compared to all other distributions. Yes, I would agree. Simply because they have different package managers. That's at least from what I understand about NixOS. Again, I could be wrong. Let's see. CashOS chases that 3% if you have a cutting edge CPU. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I necessarily have a cutting edge CPU. I mean, it's an N100. Like, I mean, it goes up to 3.4 gigahertz, but I never see it go past 3.2 though. NixOS has pain points depending on what you were doing. Also, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it does have some pain points. From what I've seen, it does. Yeah. I think the point in NixOS is that you don't need to deal with package managers. You just write your config files, and your system is basically defined by that. But also, you have to learn Nix and Flakes and stuff, and it's hard, I guess. Yeah, I think I would, if I had to, I would rank NixOS right up there with like Oh, what is that? That's gonna bug me now. I'm not thinking of OpenSUSE, but there's one distribution out there where you have to like compile everything. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. But like that's how I would rank NixOS, is like right up there with um oh, that's gonna bug me now. What is it that you just compile everything? Whatever. So someone will help me, probably. Oh, Gentoo. Yes, thank you guys. Gentoo. I rank it right up there with Gentoo simply because, like, yeah, you have a huge config file, but like I don't want to go through that config file, and I don't want to deal with every package manager. Like, I tolerate apt. I don't know enough about DNF, but I feel like I can't get as much as I can with the Arch package managers. Uh, as far as other package managers, I'm not really familiar with those. Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm a tinkerer. Don't get me wrong. Okay, never lose sight of that. But I just don't know if I want to configure like a bunch of stuff like that. But listen, for those of you that are using it, um, I think it's great. I think it's great because you get more choice in packages. With all that I just said, yes, you do get more choice with the packages. Like, definitely. So, I think it's still a good thing. Let's see. NixOS is interesting. The problem is that you have to do everything the Nix way. You basically get locked into their ecosystem, and although it's an amazing ecosystem, you're still locked in. Oh, I see what you're saying. So what you're saying is that it's basically Apple because you're also locked into their ecosystem. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Don't worry about me. Uh, Linux from scratch doesn't use a package manager. Linux from scratch can scratch my behind. Okay, Linux from scratch. I would rather use Windows. No, I'm sorry. I would rather use Chrome OS. That I would absolutely rather use Chrome OS than had used Linux from scratch. I Here's the thing. I love tinkering. Don't get me wrong. I don't like Linux from scratch for the same reason I don't like Gentoo, and that is because you're doing every single thing, including the kernel, from scratch. NixOS feels like a solution looking for a problem to me. Wow. Okay. I haven't thought about it that way. Oh my goodness. It's just a guy Linux. Good morning, my dude. It has been forever. How are you doing? Every now and again, you actually come up in conversation. Uh, because like, last year around this time we were talking about like window managers and stuff like that. Every time I talk about Awesome WM, I think back about like some of the videos that I watched you cover on Awesome WM. But yeah, it is good to see you, my dude. Let's see. That's an interesting statement. Yeah, it is. It is. It feels like a solution looking for a problem. Yeah, looking for love in all the wrong places. Yeah, LFS is for education / learn about Linux. Yes, I would agree. No, I would. I would agree. Lucky, how's it going? Welcome back to the stream. Nix is good on the happy path, but if you have to do something outside the ordinary, it is pain. Well, I think some of you like pain. Okay, the way that some of you run certain things, yeah, I think that is absolutely the case. And I keep forgetting to mute my notifications every single. Not that I get notifications, but like it's nice to be able to mute them. In NixOS, you can't fall back to the normal way sometimes. LFS is absolutely an educational experience. It's not practical for actual use. Yeah, I guess you can make the same argument about T2 Linux. I didn't know that about T2 Linux, however. But I don't know, my dude. LFS, I don't know. It's not for me. Like, I know it's not for me. Dynamically linked binaries don't work. You need to use Nix. I think that's LD, or package it yourself. Awesome. WM is still a newish topic since I redid an installation and configuration, but currently working with Qtile. Forgive the spelling and punctuation, I'm driving. Oh, my dude. Oh, be careful, please. Please be careful while you're out there. I hope you have a good drive wherever you're going, though. But yeah, it is. I don't know. Awesome WM was it was really good at the time. You can still do a lot of customization with it. I've just in my time, I have found that there's a lot more customizations that you can do with the Waybar. Now that I've figured out certain tips and tricks here and there, I was able to customize more of my experience with that. Maybe it's good to use Nix without NixOS so you can fall back to the normal way and transition to NixOS once you are enjoying the Nix way. Don't Linux and drive. I mean, maybe. Yeah, so NixOS, I don't know. It might warrant. I'm going to put it on the list. NixOS. Then we can just mark off CachyOS. But yeah, we got NixOS on the board of. We also will try Endeavor OS at some point. I've also got Elementary OS to try Zorin. I don't know why I would want to try Zorin. Void Linux and Pika OS. OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. That's probably going to be the next distribution that I cover, if I'm going to be honest, is OpenSUSE. Did you ever get some games going? Yeah, so yesterday morning, I got a few games going. We tried Super Mario Brothers 3. We then tried Mega Man Legacy Collection from Steam. And then we put on Jurassic World, the Lego Jurassic World. We put that on. And it plays my Mario Brothers 3 at 60 FPS, even while streaming. It will play the Mega Man Legacy Collection at 60 FPS while I'm streaming. When I'm not streaming, I can play Lego Jurassic World at 30 frames per second. If I'm streaming, that goes down to 20 FPS. Let's see. So yeah, we did get a few games going. I'm trying to think of some other games that I want to try. I think the next game I'm gonna try out on stream is probably Magic the Gathering. So I don't know if you guys play Magic the Gathering, but there'll be some gameplay of that at some point. Let's see. There is Gaming Linux France OS. That is a community-driven distro based on Nix OS. If you're curious, it requires really high PC specs. Yeah, that's not really for me. I'm using speech to text, so it's not too terrible. If you're a Qtile user, the bar is my favorite part of it almost. No, I will admit there is a lot of customization with Qtile. In fact, when I first ran Arch Linux, I ran Qtile. And the biggest difference between Qtile and AwesomeWM is going to be a matter of if you want to use, if you want to code in Python or if you want to code in Lua. And I know my way around both of those codings to where I could code whatever I wanted to. But some of you who need Python, you're going to want to go with Qtile. Qtile is very customizable from what I remember of it. If you need something else that's, I guess, just as customizable, if not a little bit more, yeah, I would probably go with AwesomeWM then. That is if you're on X11. They are, I say they are. They've already got Qtile on Wayland. I'll get it right. Yeah, they've also got it on Wayland. It's kind of experimental maybe. But I mean they do have it there nonetheless. Let's see, for gaming purposes, gotcha. I have played around now with NixOS for 3 months because some of my colleagues recommended it, but I think it's not great as a workstation. I can see NixOS being useful for servers. That's in the end my opinion. No, I can respect that. I think it is. I think it has some good use cases, maybe. Like I said, me using it, no, I probably wouldn't use it. And with the first hour coming up, let me just remind you all that I have a Discord server. That if you followed the link in the description, you are more than welcome to join my server. You can talk with me, as in get in contact with me if you need anything. You can post your risings, post your projects. You can talk with other Linux users. You can ask for help with something if you need it. It's all there. If you like all of those things, make sure you join. If you like the stream, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you really enjoy my content, consider subscribing, because that helps out a lot. Not just my sanity, but it also helps out the channel. So, just my little plug there. And now we'll get back to Linux content. Yeah, Nix is cool if you get multiple computers as well for having the same config everywhere. Let me think about what was just said. Oh, I see what it is. If you get computers/servers. Yeah. Okay, I see what it is now. What is ricing? I'm not familiar with the term. So ricing is a term that the Linux community uses to describe, like, being able to customize your... Generally, it's to customize your window manager or desktop environment. So, like, for example, what you see right now with the Waybar, how it's customized, and then, like, if you take a look at the border here, how it's like a rainbow or whatever, this is all part of the aesthetic, the look and feel. It's customization. So basically, it's your customization of your not distribution, but like your window manager and or your desktop environment. NixOS claims their packaging script as a strength, as you can use the script to replace your setup each install, or you can replicate it. So the thing is, I Mm, I mean, while it is claimed as a strength, I think it is more of a hindrance. I would think that at some point you're gonna have like a bunch of conflict, or I would think that you're gonna have a bunch of conflictions. I mean, I don't know that for certain, but like, no, that's what I'm thinking. Just taking a little break here, doing some stretches. That often helps. Let's see. NixOS uses compile flags for each package, so they can have a separate set of dependencies, which is weird, awkward, and I can't really see where that is needed. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that one out too. I recently. So here's an interesting story. I went to install and I, before I begin, the too long didn't read. I'm using what's called Chili theme for or the Chili theme. I'm using it for my login screen for SDDM. But let me tell you the trouble that I went to last night. So last night, when I was trying to find the Breeze um, files, and for the life of me, I could not find Breeze. Like, I searched all over the internet. There is not a single place where I can get just the Breeze files, because that's what I wanted. Because it doesn't, like, your installation on Hyperland doesn't, like, if you do it through CachyOS, and even if you do it through Arch for that matter, it will not come with Breeze. And so I did what the forums said to do, and that was to install the Breeze packages and install Plasma workspaces. Well, I noticed that when I went back to my login, that it had installed KDE Plasma. And I almost threw a hissy fit. I said, "What are you doing on my computer? Get away from me." And you know what? I almost offered it Tree Fitty. I'm not going to lie to you. I almost said, "Here's Tree Fitty, and just get out of here." But it had some... It was like dependent upon something. And for the first time in my Linux life, I had to use something called -R and then lowercase dd in order to bypass those dependencies, because it would break dependencies. Ooh, I'm gonna break these dependencies if I uninstall. But I don't want Plasma. Nothing against Plasma. I really don't want more than one window manager or desktop environment on my system. I really don't want to have to switch between all of them. With that being said, I would consider like installing Awesome WM or something like that in the future. But like right now, I only want like one window manager. So like I was like looking, trying to figure out like how am I going to take this off, and finally I got it off. But like it was a pain. I guess my story was to say this. It is a pain trying to get the Breeze theme. So I had to go with something called Chili, which resembled a lot of Breeze, but apparently there was just more customizations that you could do with it. In fact, I need to look back and make sure that I have those files, so that way I can install it if I ever need to on a new system. Um, let's see. But yeah, NixOS. I guess that's the topic we've landed on. NixOS is, having said all that I've said about NixOS, I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing that you can install. Like if I didn't have anything else, yeah, I would probably use NixOS. But I would probably only use Pac-Man, and then if I needed to use something else, I would probably use APT. But I would only use APT if I couldn't find it in the Pac-Man or the Yay. If I couldn't find it in either one of those, I would probably just use APT. Because like there are some things like here's the thing: if I was on Debian, I could absolutely get the Breeze files, for example. Because I was looking when I was looking on the internet for the Breeze files, it was showing a lot of results for the Debian package. It's just not something that I can do right off on that. Uh, let's see, but you could. I wonder if YouTube censored that or not. It shouldn't be censored, or I wouldn't think it's censored. Interesting. Cause like here's the thing about like cursing. I don't mind that other people do it. I I don't do it on the channel. Like unless it's like a very rare instance. Cause like the last time I did it, it was on accident. But I try not to for myself. Um, I don't know. I guess it's just more of a personal thing for me. But let's see. But that's not efficient. You're absolutely right. Vindicta, welcome back. NixOS is solid. Gotcha, gotcha. It wasn't YouTube. I was being polite. Well, thank you kindly, my dude. But you don't have to. Uh, but it is appreciated to some degree. Um, but yeah, what to do? What to do? I don't know. Other than I'm trying to think from it. That's me as well. Speech is a powerful tool and reflects your character. Um, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't like. I don't know. Back in the day, Ghost. You're so funny. No, back in the day, like in my early 20s, I would have had a difference in opinion. Because I used to cuss up a storm, and now I look at other people who cuss up a storm, and I'm just like, is that really necessary? But I guess it's just because I've gotten older and like I guess gotten more mature about things. So yeah, um, I don't know. I guess that's how I feel about it. Dude. Okay, let's calm down. You guys, let's calm down. Can't we all just get along? But no, I get it. Like, no, I used to be in that situation. Oh yeah. Something about tomorrow. Tomorrow's stream is going to be a music production stream. So we're going to be doing music production in Linux, and so that's going to be interesting. Let's see. I'm from a region where cursing is like punctuation, so it's hard to get rid of the habit. Oh yeah, imagine saying the F word for like an exclamation point. Yeah, no, I can see that. They did research some time ago. People who curse a lot are smarter. I mean, in that case, I mean, if that's the case, then I guess I just need to curse a lot more. Is what you're saying. No, I mean, listen. If that's the case, then everyone in here is smarter for having heard it. Like if you could just give me some of that smartness, like if it'll just rub off onto me, I would be so happy. I don't know, cause like sometimes I do feel dumb. Like when I'm talking about Linux with other people, um, like sometimes I do feel a little bit dumb, but it's usually not for very long. Lucky. Yeah, you guys. I didn't know you guys had a sense of humor. That's great. I love it. I love it. No, but that's the thing about like talking about Linux. Like, I mean, for me, I talk mostly from experience. I don't really have. I guess it's more about. I have more wisdom than I do intelligence, if that makes sense. Overuse is a sign of a limited vocabulary. No, I'm sorry, but no, I get it. No, I absolutely feel that way too. Like overuse is like I feel like you can't come up with something better. Like I've seen some YouTubers that will just like you like overuse it, and like I've got like family members that are like that too, and I'm just like you can't come up with something better. Like you don't know words. And like to be fair, not a lot of people do. To be fair. I mean, here's the thing. We are no PBS, okay? We're not PBS kids on this channel by any means. But I'm also not going to be like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I want like a nice blend. That that was the thing about like we were just talking about the other day, or I was talking about this with my friends the other day. I said, you know what? We need to have a Snow White, but we need to have like Snow White horror themed. And what I said was, we could make we could make Michael Myers be the huntsman, and then we could have we could have Leatherface be the evil queen, and then we could have like oh, what were some other ones that I came up with? Like we talked about Jason. I was trying to figure out who Jason could be. Uh, but yeah, that became an interesting conversation. Curiosity is the greatest form of intelligence, and most Linux users are curious until SteamOS becomes more mainstream. Okay, yeah, I can get down with that. Yeah. I think of myself as being pretty curious about Linux. I still don't, granted, I still don't know everything about Linux, and I don't think I'll ever claim that I'll know everything about Linux. Like, there's just some things that I'm not ever gonna know. Like, I get on stream sometimes, and it's like, um, I just feel like, sometimes I don't necessarily know as much as other people do, but this is what I like about having these streams is like I get to know other people that are using Linux just like myself, and like we can have a discussion about it, and I think it's great. Could there be some way to load SteamOS of your PC since it's Arch based? Uh, yeah, I mean probably. I don't know. I've never tried to install SteamOS. Oh, what is this? The Wicked, what is that, AI YouTube channel? Has a Snow White short with Samuel L. Jackson as Snow White. My dude, that is insane. Wow. That is insane. Vlad, welcome to the channel. I3 the best? I mean, I'll agree to disagree. I think it's great if you don't have anything else. Um, but yeah, but Bazite is your best bet for now. I keep hearing about Bazite. I don't really know that much about Bazite though. I I don't even know what you would use it for. SteamOS offers no advantage over picking a distro and installing Steam. Uh, I mean, yeah, I think as far as oh well, thank you Bottleneck for hanging out with us. Hopefully you'll be back with us the next time, and we'll see you around. Uh, yeah, I would agree about SteamOS. Like the only reason to have SteamOS would be for the Steam Deck. I feel because like yeah, what's to say that you can't run like whatever you like? That's the thing. Like, why would you want SteamOS when you could have any distro of your choice? Like, what advantages would you have to begin with running it? Unless there were optimizations specifically for gaming, but even then, like, would you be able to install a window manager? Could you have a desktop environment? Like, those are things to think about. I think. Um, what Bazite based distro? I can't remember. It's for putting on handhelds mostly. Oh, got you. Yeah, so that's why I keep seeing it because every now and then I'll see something about SteamOS, and so SteamOS, uh, yeah, I've never used it. I don't really plan to either because I don't really I don't really feel it's necessary for me to own Steam a Steam Deck. Like I don't know, I just play everything on my laptop. Like I mean, I guess it's one of the reasons why I still have a laptop instead of like a tablet or something. Like most people these days that I know of, they will use tablets and phones to play their games. I still have a laptop. I still would rather have a computer to do all that stuff with. Putting it on an old PC for the TV and using it as a console. Gotcha. Gotcha. If I could have SteamOS on my PC, I'd be so happy. No, then I'd change my Mac into a gaming laptop. Uh, I've often wondered, like, if I should have. like bought a MacBook instead of like the current computer that I have. I guess at the time when I was buying, I wasn't thinking about putting Linux on it. I was just thinking about like how like my all my stuff would run. But yeah, no, you could absolutely do that. I think I think that would work out. SteamOS was originally based on Ubuntu back when they were doing Steam machines. Then the name was revived for the Steam Deck and now uses Arch as. Oh, they're using Arch. Oh, okay. I did not catch that. Um, but yeah, that is cool that they use. I think the reason they use Arch is just because they you can put like whatever you want basically on there. Like the world is your oyster when it comes to Arch. What is my chair doing? It's making all these noises. Um, but yeah, no, SteamOS. Like there's still more games that I need to put on here. Like I said, I'm gonna try out Magic the Gathering at some point. I'm gonna see if I can limit the FPS on it too to like maybe go 30. Um, See how well that goes. Uh, I don't know. I was thinking about like doing Pokemon at some point, but I don't know if I could do Pokemon. It's been forever, and I'd have to create a new account because once you set a username, you can't change the username. So I'd rather do that. Just use it. Just get a new account for it. But I don't even know if I could use Mango Hut on it. I probably could if I tried it. Played the card game back in the day. Magic is a good. Yeah, Magic. So I got into Magic back in December of last year. Um, as soon as I found out that you could play with dinosaurs, I was glued to it. Like I was interested in playing the game. I lose a lot, but I do like playing from time to time. So like yeah, I mean if you guys like Magic, we can stream some Magic the Gathering. Like that's not a big deal. In fact, I'll write it down right now. Yeah, that's what I'll do though. And just tomorrow be music production, and then Wednesday. I don't know how Wednesday's gonna go because I've got a test to do, so the stream might be a little bit later than usual. If I do a stream, and if I don't do a stream, then I'll just consider it as me needing a break. Um, but yeah, at some point this week we'll try out Magic the Gathering, see how well it works. Because music production, like I said, will be tomorrow. We're gonna create some music. I've got other games. I just don't know what I want to install. Still in school? No, I'm not in school. It's been 10 years since I was last in school. And that was because that was my college years. These days um I work a job which is like basically which is the reason why unless it's my day off, like you're rarely going to catch me doing a night stream. But I work nights, so like generally I work like from 6 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. So like the thing is that I usually have free time during the day, and that means that I have enough time to do a stream, get some sleep, and then go to work. That's usually, and it's usually in that order too. Welcome to the stream. My goodness, I just switched to Arch from Windows, and now my entire YouTube feed is Linux stuff. Well, I'm glad to have you here. Uh, it'll happen. Like, you see one video, and then you get all of these kinds of videos in your feed. I understand that. I'm on week 2 and still not entirely set up. Yeah, especially if you are, if you're new to it. Yeah, it is going to take you some time to get used to your distribution and everything. So no, I get that. Like every one of us has had that moment where we've had to, just learn and grow. And it sounds like that's where you're at right now. Let me go ahead and plug up this charger. Come on, you can do it. There we go. I want to make sure that I don't run out. Yeah, there we go. All right. Looks good. But yeah, right now, well, okay, so here's a question for Barkley here. What are you currently using for your, like, are you using a window manager or are you using a desktop environment? And let us know which one you're using. Like what specifically? Like, if it's a desktop environment, you can let us know. Let's see. Especially the hybrid graphics card stuff with my laptop was super annoying, but I'm close now. Hyperland looks better every day. Well, that's what I'm running. I'm running Hyperland along with Waybar. Yeah, these days I prefer, like, I used to be, I don't know if I was like hardcore about it, but I used to I used to always say that I would rather use X11 because I didn't think that Hyperland was ready at the time. And then, I don't know, when I came back to Linux, I said, I think I'm ready now for Hyperland. So I got on Hyperland and I haven't regretted it since. I don't know. That's just been my journey with it. Like, I've always been with X11. Specifically Awesome WM. And then before that it was Qtile. You know what? I'm actually really surprised. This tier list is not complete. You guys got a little bit of an error here. This is not complete because I just realized that Qtile is not on this list. I completely forgot about it. Qtile goes in A tier list, though. Qtile goes in A tier. So just remember that. Ooh, got a question especially for me. What app suites do you like? I mostly use GNOME/GTK apps in Hyperland. Dude, anytime that I can, I'm using GNOME/GTK apps. In fact, my poll kit, GNOME. I use GNOME boxes. I use Nautilus. There's a lot of GNOME stuff that I actually use. I prefer like, here's the thing. If I'm having to choose between GNOME versus KDE, I'm always going with GNOME. 100%. That being said, I think that KDE's taskbar is a lot more customizable. and not as hacky to do. But as far as like programs themselves, I'd rather go with GNOME and GTK apps. Now, that's not to say that I won't use KDE stuff, because I use Kdenlive for my videos. And in fact, I've been recommended that I use DaVinci Resolve. I don't know that I want to use DaVinci Resolve, but nonetheless, it has been recommended to me. I just know Mint here. Also, welcome back. Glad to have you here. Yeah, I mean, Linux Mint is pretty good though. If you're a beginner and everything, I think. Well, even if you're not a beginner, like even if you want something that's just simple, like I think that Mint is great for that. I just installed ML4W with all of their dot files, but it's slightly bloated. I backed my personal stuff up though. Yes, you always want to make sure you have a backup of all your personal files. Here's a tip. What I do is that I'll take my entire home folder and just copy and paste into my external hard drive that I have, my backup hard drive, and I'll save it. And right now I'm trying to save what I can for now until I figure out if I need to overwrite my files. Like I'm saving it in case I need access to like a config file or something. But I'm pretty much happy with what I've got now, so I'm gonna try and remove the unnecessary stuff in it to go really minimal. Yeah, I mean, if you, I don't know, I would say if you want to go minimal, the best thing to do is to just start from scratch. Like, I don't know what ML4W is like, but that's basically what I did. I took a basic config file and I just reworked it. So like for example with Hyperland and Waybar, I took like a simple default configuration script and I just tweaked it to my liking, and I just went from there. Like I wouldn't worry about using, like that's the thing. Like contrary to me having, like, because I have my .config files are updated as far as my Hyperland and Waybar configurations. They're updated on my GitHub. But that being said, I would always recommend that unless you just want what I have as far as my setup goes, I think you'll have more fun and a better experience if you customize it the way that you want it to look. Because a lot of people may not want the same setup that I've got. But then again, you may do. Who knows, really? Like you could, and that's why I have my dot files. But the fun is always in customizing it yourself, having that experience and stuff like that. I think goes a long way. Oh yeah, what am I doing? I've got like so I got one of these back when I was working from my desk, cuz like I work from my bed now, but like when I was working from my desk, I got like this computer chair. Um and it's got like this, I don't consider it a footrest. I consider it like a leg rest. But like I hardly utilize it. And it's mostly because I keep forgetting about it. How are you doing backups? So what I do, I don't use anything like Timeshift. Normally what I do is I take like an external hard drive, I plug it up, and then I copy my home folder and I paste it into my external hard drive. And that's how I do my backups. I've noticed people often back up their dot file folder to Git, which is also a great way to share your setup. I've got a story to share about that. So it is a great way to share your setup. It is also a great way to have a backup because I deleted a lot of my files at one point or another because I didn't know if I was coming back to Linux at the time. So I deleted like a bunch of stuff in my documents folder. And it wasn't just Linux stuff, it was like a bunch of other stuff. So when I came back to Linux, the only thing that I had left was my GitHub. And I am forever thankful that I decided to upload my config files to GitHub. Everything else that wasn't uploaded to GitHub, I pretty much remembered how to make the necessary edits to my config files, so I didn't really need it. But I'm telling you, if you don't trust yourself, and what I mean by this is that if you think that you're going to delete files at some point in your life, or you think that your hard drive is going to be overwritten, or you make a mistake, having that GitHub can save you a lot of headache. Because when I came back, that's what happened with me, was that I'm like, okay, I don't have my files. And then I immediately thought about my GitHub. And I saw when I saw my GitHub and I was like, those are my config files. I'm like, let's go. Now we're working with something. So that's my little story about GitHub. I mean, you could also use GitLab. I mean, a lot of people use GitLab. I don't know. I just use GitHub. I think for me, it makes the most sense. Because, like, what's ironic is that a lot of YouTubers that I come across that use Linux, they end up using GitLab. But, like, the products that they get usually come from, they usually come from GitHub. I don't know. I just find it kind of ironic a little bit, maybe. I use Carryfred to just clone my drive. I have plenty of SSDs to use. How does that work? You just clone your entire drive just with a program? I see. I only use like I just copy and paste my home folder. Hold on, let me write that down. Carryfred. I might have to look into that. Got to get repo running on a local NAS, and backing up home is done with Restic. Might also need to look into Restic. Boot and all. Interesting. I wonder how well that would work out if I just backed up my entire drive. I wonder how that would work out. Clonezilla can do whole disk backups. Let's write that down too. Clonezilla. Why don't you use something like Borg backup so you can do it incrementally? Also, welcome to the stream, Bram. We're happy to have you. I'll take a look into Borg as well. Wow, you guys, we have a lot of options here. Like, all the stuff that you guys are telling me, I didn't even know it was possible. I should have known it was possible. I never really thought about it. Like, I just thought that if I just updated my, like, if you go the way of using Carryfred, if you use that method, then like I don't have to replace anything really, because I can just install it back onto the hard drive. But that is definitely interesting. Restic is incremental too. Got you. I use Borg with Vorta as a front end. Works pretty well for me. So Borg with Vorta. We'll try it out. We'll take a look at some of those, or I will rather, during my off time. So that's definitely interesting. Well, I guess I can move my water bottle now. More like a soda bottle, am I right? Yeah, yeah, I don't mean for this awkward silence. I just I sometimes I need a break from like talking and stuff. So, I just kind of like take my breaks here and there. And CarryFred is free and makes a one-to-one copy very useful when these companies charge a fortune for larger drives just because people don't know how to clone. Yeah, it's not that I don't know. Well, I guess part of it may be that I don't know how to clone, but at the same time, I could work my way around figuring it out. I just need to know like what software to use to like clone your entire system, and then like something that would also allow me to put it back onto the hard drive. But yeah, I mean, it was like I was talking about the other day. Like, there's some people that don't even know how to like reformat their hard drive, so they pay people to do it. Which is it's really great for them because like they're getting money, and at the same time they're providing a service. But like, I mean, you're still out $50 when you could have done it yourself. But I understand that like, or I've come to the realization that like not everyone is on the same wavelength as me when it comes to doing anything uh technological. Like some people just aren't that tech savvy. But you know what? We are. We're all tech savvy here, I would imagine. And if you're not, then why? Or no, I'm just playing. Well, here's a question for everyone. Because I know we've talked about it here and there, but like this is a good conversation to have. So like, do you feel as though anyone can use Linux? And then why or why not? That would be the interesting question. Is like, do you think that like anyone could just run Linux? Or I laugh when people are like, "Could you defragment my drive? It's slow, bro. This is an SSD, and you don't defrag those. You have too much data on your poor SSD, and it's a Gen 3." Oh. See, I have an SSD, but I don't know enough about SSDs. That's my only problem with that. So like, so you can't defrag them. But you could have too much data on your SSD to make it slow, I guess. That's my takeaway from this conversation. Absolutely not. Work in help desk support, as you'll come to see. Fair enough. Yeah, if you guys don't know, like, this got brought up yesterday, but like, the reason why I use normal latency for my streams is just because I want to be able to have, um, I want to be able to have like captions on my videos. So that's typically why. If you guys feel like I should go with like ultra low latency, do let me know and I can make accommodations for future streams. Burkay, welcome to the stream. What about JWM? That would probably go under never heard of or never used because I have never heard of it, but also I've never used it. So, people who just browse the internet, sure. Everyone who's slightly opinionated about their software use, no. I understand what you mean. So, like, for example, if someone's like, oh, I have to use my Adobe products. I have to use my Microsoft Office products. Like, I cannot get away from those products because they just work. No, I understand. Definitely not Arch. I mean, even I am struggling with it, but there are distros that are close enough to Windows, maybe, or so maybe. Uh, yeah. I mean, if you're having trouble with it, uh, I don't know. To me, it sounds like you started with Arch. Starting with Arch is not the way to go, in my opinion. I started off using Pop! OS, and once I used Pop! OS, then I went to Ubuntu. Then I was on Arch Linux with Qtile for a little while, and then I went to Debian with Awesome WM for a little while, and then I went back to Arch with Hyperland, and now I'm on CachyOS. So you might want to take a look into CachyOS. If you end up having problems with Arch, because so far I've been running CachyOS and everything has been like quick and responsive, and like it's because they optimize it and they look for performance with their system. All the Windows looks alikes are sketchy. Yeah, because it's like you go in there and you're like, do I want to try it? Do I not? No, I get that. Probably start with Debian. Debian is great if you want something stable and secure. I have found it's pretty good. No, I would absolutely agree with that statement. NTFS is a crap file system. I found defragging takes load off the SSD controller as folders are actually files of files, and making them contiguous helps, but only when things are bad. And see, having moved to CachyOS, I figured out a couple of things. BetterFS is quite literally to me the better FS than ext4, because I used to use ext4, but like ever since I used BetterFS, my system has gotten like really fast. Like it does not take nearly as long to load stuff, and part of it is just because I'm using BetterFS alone. But then the other part is I've made some optimizations to my computer in order to make it more snappy and responsive. I mean, I'm getting used to it. The only reason I switched is because I wanted a minimal system without distractions so I can write stuff in my Obsidian Vault and do some light programming. No, I definitely understand that because Arch gives you a very minimal system. And it also depends on what it is that you end up using for it too. So no, I totally get that. Um, I don't know. For me, it's just gotten to a point where like when I installed Cashy for the first time, um, it was great because I was able to. I mean, using the Arch install script is great, but like I prefer using the Calamari's one because it makes everything super simple for me. Um, I mean, having said that, I have installed Arch the Arch way, but um, in fact, I did a live stream of it last year where I did. Um, it was like I ended up. It was like my third time. Uh, what's the selling point of Cashy? Um, so their selling point. In fact, the best way to deal with this is to go to their website. So, CashOS. I did not mean to do that. Can I go back? Yeah, it saved it. This is the one I meant, though. Let's go to all. Then let's go to CashOS. Okay, so what they're known for is that they are blazingly fast and customizable Linux distribution. It is designed to deliver lightning fast speeds and stability, ensuring a smooth and enjoyable computing experience every time you use it. Whether you're a seasoned Linux user or just starting out, it is the ideal choice for those looking for a powerful, customizable, and blazingly fast operating system. So what this tells me is that not only is it supposed to be stable, but you're getting lightning fast speeds because they're optimizing it for performance. So really, that is their selling point: is that you, if you want lightning fast speeds and you want stability, you want something smooth and enjoyable. That's their selling point. It enhances your performance with optimized packages. So like CashOS compiles the packages with V3 and V4. Then you can select your preferred edition. They've got a lot of environments that you can choose from. The installation process, you can use Calamares or you can use a CLI-based option. And then power up your computing with robust kernel support. So CashOS uses Bohr schedule for better interactivity and offers a variety of schedule options. The kernels are compiled with V3, V4, Zen 4 instructions, and LTO to be optimized for each CPU. Let's see. So let me get to everyone else. Let's see. So most distros have a net install option, which allows you to install a base system and build just as you do with Arch. I like to install Debian that way. Oh yeah, I've seen people do Debian that way. I think it's nice to have that set up. Absolutely. What browser are you using? I'm not entirely satisfied. Oh, sorry, I missed one. What makes it faster than just normal Arch? So I would say part of it is the kernel. And then a lot of it, I think, is just based on packages. So like, it even has its own repository that, or like, CashOS compiles the packages. I guess that's the better wording for it, is that they compile the packages. Makes it a lot better. Like they also use Fish instead of Bash. That makes it lightning fast. And yeah, I would say a lot of it just has to do with the kernel. A lot of it has to do with certain packages that they have installed already or that come with it already. The only thing is that I don't know what it comes with already. So, yeah, it is kernel stuff mostly. Yeah, I would definitely try it out, see how it works for you. I mean, for me, if I didn't think it was good, I wouldn't be using it because I would just be using Arch. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, if I didn't think it was good enough for my workflow, I wouldn't use it. So, take that with what you will. What browser are you using? I'm not entirely satisfied with Firefox bloatware. So I use a browser called Zen Browser. And here's the thing about going with Cache. Cache actually had a Zen browser package. You know what happened when I tried to install the Zen browser with Arch, with the AUR and doing it with Arch? It was going to take like hours to install. And there was no reason why it was going to take hours to install the browser. So I had to go with Flatpak. And I noticed quite a few problems with using the Flatpak. So because of CacheOS, I'm able to use the Zen browser because of their repositories. Makes it really good to use. I might just throw this on my other PC. Doesn't matter if I brick that device, but I love to use a good Linux distro and get back into it. Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing. I would recommend it because, like, for me, I was able to do, along with my other optimizations, like having switched to CacheOS was the best thing for me. And then along with my other optimizations that I did for performance, like it made it snappier. It had a really good feel for it. Just everything started coming together when I went. So, if it doesn't bother you about performance, then you really could just go back with Arch. Let's see. I would have to try it out to feel it for myself, I guess. Yeah, that's going to be the best way to handle it, I think. Their wiki looks pretty fleshed out, too. Yeah, I think it's pretty extensive. You just have to read more about it, I guess. Because, like, I can only explain so much of what I know about it. But I think it's still really... I think it's really solid. I think it is. And now that we have come to the 2-hour mark, I would like to say that I want to thank everyone for being here. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you really enjoy my content, consider subscribing today. If you would like to get in contact with me at any point, my Discord is the best way to do it. You can talk with other people that use Linux there. You can post your risings, post your projects, ask for help with Linux things, and all that good stuff. So if it sounds like a community you'd like to join, feel free. We would love to have you. And now let's get back to Linux. Oh my goodness, this chair sounds like I'm going to break it. It sounds so fragile. But yeah, I would say, yeah, just try it out, see if you like it. It's pretty good in my opinion. But yeah, you definitely have your option of like Wailing Compositor versus X11 window managers. You also have your choice between different desktops too. It's just a matter of what you want to use. Like someone said something about LXQT earlier. You could use LXQT. You could, like, you can definitely use KDE. You could use GNOME, Qtile, Hyprland, Sway. The only thing I didn't really see
was like Awesome WM, and I don't know why that is. Because I think Awesome WM is really good for X11, but I can't put my finger on it if it would be better to use Qtile or Awesome WM at this point. Because like I think they're both solid window managers, but it's whatever. So let's go back to this tab here. But yeah, to the question about my browser earlier, I use something called Zen browser. So like the panels just go away. It's very minimal for me. It's very calming. But like I can hover up here, go to my address bar, do what I need to do, go over here, and do take into consideration that like with the Zen browser, I have customized my experience a little bit, because this bar would actually go over here, but it would go on the top, and I just don't like that. I like having my tabs here, but then I also like having my address bar up here. It's just a little, and I'm starting to get used to this. I've started liking this, this setup here where it's like all your tabs are on the left. So it's been nice. But yeah. Yep. So I do plan on being here for a little while. I don't know. I'm probably, if it goes well, probably be here until noon. So probably about 2 more hours. If I have enough stuff to talk about. If I don't, I'll probably just end a little bit earlier than that. But, today's one of those days where, like, I got to work at 6. So at some point I got to take a nap. I'm probably going to end up forcing myself to take a nap, though. But yeah. While we're here, if you guys have anything you want to talk about that's like Linux related, we can do that too. I know that most of the stream was supposed to be geared towards window managers and desktop environments. So, like, I guess a question that I would have for everyone here is, like, what was your first desktop environment? Because I'm pretty sure a majority of you did not start off with a window manager or a compositor. So I guess I would just like to know what everyone first started with. Because I first started with GNOME. I liked the look and feel of it, and so I just went with it. I don't know how everyone else was. Oh, we have Cosmic here. Pop! OS was my first distro. I was never around for Cosmic, but I did use Pop! OS as my first distro. So here's the thing. I want to revisit. I'm going to write this down too. I really want to revisit Pop! OS at some point to see what it to see how it worked out. First conscientious choice, like BSPWM. Okay. It's been a while since I've heard people talk about BSPWM, but from what I hear, that's also a solid choice. I think at one point, DistroTube actually covered some videos about BSPWM. Okay, so GTK2 based GNOME. Gotcha. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I heard that like people used to love GTK 2, and then like when GTK 3 came out, people were like, "Ew, why are you giving me this? This is gross." I was around probably for GTK 3, maybe GTK 4, but I want to say it was GTK 3. I don't know. I guess it just depends. Like, because I came to Linux around 2022 or 23, something like that. So I don't remember what the GTK was at that time. But if I remember correctly, it was basically the fact that, um, like it was GTK 3, but they were moving their way to GTK 4. Yeah, I'm really surprised. I think that like I haven't seen anyone who uses or who did use KDE. I thought there would be more people who would at least use KDE because it seems like I don't know, like at least half the Linux users I come across at one point or another use KDE and they were like very comfortable with it. And yeah, KDE was very customizable though in terms of their taskbar. The only issue that I had, and maybe this was just because of what I was running at the time, but like KDE would freeze up on me a lot. And like it would not save my settings that I had. So like I just didn't quite get it. KDE is alright. Yeah, no, that's kind of how I feel too. Like KDE is just it exists, but like it's just kind of there, you know. Uh, People hate change, even Linux users. No, I definitely understand that. Um, I kind of hate change. It depends on what kind of change it is, though, for me. Cause like there's this one time that like I tried chicken salad for the first time, and I was like, I did not like that change at all. But like once I tasted it, it was pretty good. So sometimes like I will kind of have a moment where like I'm not comfortable with trying new things. So no, I definitely understand that. Okay, you daily drive KDE currently? Nice, nice. GNOME is kind of gross. Actually, let me let me say that again, but like in a different voice. GNOME is kind of gross. Haha. No, I understand where that comes from though. Like, feels like a tablet thing. Yeah. GNOME is it's interesting to me. Like, I don't know. It always gave me like that Mac feel, and I always wanted a Mac feel, but I never wanted to use a MacBook really. Like, and when I came to Linux, I soon figured out that that's when I knew that I wanted to customize my user experience, like to its full potential on Linux. Because like I'm used to being a tinkerer, but like, uh, that was when I really knew what I wanted to do on Linux. It's important to embrace change as a positive force in your life because it's going to happen anyway. No, I agree. Like change will inevitably happen. Um, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but you know, like you roll with the punches sometimes. GNOME is vanilla, which isn't a bad thing as the base OS. Uh, should surprise you. Oh, did I make a funny Emperor? Did I make you laugh? Yeah, GNOME. I don't know. There's some things that I like about GNOME. Oh, which shouldn't surprise you. Gotcha. I installed GNOME because Hyperland wasn't working at some point, and I was instantly grossed out. Hey, listen. I mean, there's people that do get grossed out about it. I don't doubt that at all. I still think that some of their products is like really good though. So I use some of their products. I just don't use their environment anymore, just because I don't like. I just don't like the fact that it's limiting me on customization. But yeah, I'm curious as to know how Hyperland wasn't working for you, because I ended up getting it to work just fine. But I'm just wondering like what kind of things you ran into as to why it wasn't working for you. I use GNOME with customizations to look more like KDE in Windows. Oh, so you probably use like a dash to a dash to something pan. I don't remember the exact wording, but you probably use something to dash panel or something like that. Oh yeah, you wasn't expecting that voice? Yes. Durr. I could make more voices if I wanted to. But then I would probably like make people in my house like very uncomfortable if I started doing other voices. Dash to panel, that's what it was, and Arc menu. Yeah, Arc was pretty good. KDE should be S tier, not gonna lie. I mean, I don't know about that one, SA. I don't know about my dude. No, I put desktop environments are always going to go in A tier. I'm not going to consider them S tier. Like what I consider S tier are window managers. Like, and even if I did consider desktop environments as like S tier, KDE would not go up there. It just wouldn't. I would put Cinnamon up there before I would KDE. Like I just don't feel that way about it. Oh, my chair. What are you doing, my dude? KDE is very powerful in terms of customization if you don't want to touch any config files. Yes, I would agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that statement. And that's why a lot of people choose KDE, because you can definitely customize it without touching any of the config files. The only issue, like I said, that I've had ever using KDE is the fact that it would just it would not save my configuration. And I don't know why it wouldn't save it. But like I was not a fan of like the start menu, for example, which was the reason why I liked certain aspects of GNOME, because like if I wanted to pin applications, then I could pin them. And I don't know, I just like that setup better. But with KDE, I don't know, it makes it difficult for me sometimes. Oh, it was because of my iGPU. There is a huge latency / buffer issue with sending the image through the DGPU. So it was running at 15 FPS. Disabling the iGPU drivers in the kernel finally fixed it. Wow. That is... I can't even wrap my head around that. That is a lot. So you had latency issues, buffering issues. I feel like you would do better with CachyOS if you're looking for optimization then, and like performance in regards to that, because I don't know, I can't say that, because even on way, like, even on Arch, I did not have that issue. That doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. I just, uh, you know. Oh yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it was just a weird thing with KDE. I couldn't understand why it wasn't saving what I wanted it to save. Let's see. To be honest, GNOME on Ubuntu reminds me of macOS if you have the right settings. Yeah, if you, I mean, that's the key word too, though, isn't it? Like, if you have the right settings, because you can make it look like macOS. But I don't know. I still prefer, if I'm gonna choose between one or the other, like if it's GNOME or KDE, I'm probably always gonna go with GNOME. Uh, that's just the way I've always been. My only complaint would be that it also takes a lot of RAM too, at least from my experience. I definitely understand that. Yeah, I definitely understand that. What Linux distro are you using? Just wondering. So I am using something called CachyOS. Yep, CachyOS. Uh, I didn't even understand a word what Spin said. I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I kind of didn't either. I mean, I understood a little bit of it, but like I didn't understand the entire message. But well, maybe this will clear it up. Hyperland just defaulted to the iGPU and refused to use the dedicated. Now that the drivers are disabled, everything is fine, but it was a very frustrating process to figure out. Oh, so that's interesting. So what you're saying is that use your iGPU over your dedicated. So you wanted it to use your dedicated to save, I guess, your GPU or something like that, or your iGPU. I mean, if that's the case, for me, I didn't even think about it. Like, it doesn't really take any GPU on my end for Hyperland to really run, though. So I guess that's why I'm a little bit confused, but that is definitely interesting. GNOME being the Mac OS of Linux is Canonical's objective. No, I thought their objective was their objective originally was to be like Apple, but the way that they're running, they seem to be more like a corporation. So they're trying to be more like Windows in that respect. Because like I think they had the mindset that they wanted to do things in a Mac environment, but what they got was that they're just corporate like Windows. How's your experience with Kashii? My experience has been really good, and also welcome back, Toto. We're glad to have you here. But yeah, CachyOS has been really great. Especially after after I installed it and after I did my optimizations, it's very snappy and responsive. It, all of my packages can be found on most of my packages, because I still had to install Yay, but most importantly, I did not have to install Flatpak. I don't know if live captions will be on CachyOS. I never tried it, but I would say that everything could be found with CachyOS. There was only like one or two programs that I had to use Yay for, but otherwise everything worked like it was supposed to. What would be better? I'm currently on a MacBook M1 and I want to know if I should dual boot Windows or Linux. Can you help me choose? I've used Linux before, so I know a bit. Here's the problem with that. I usually don't recommend dual booting. That being said, you can do whatever you want. But you don't have to use wait, what am I saying? Dual booting is difficult for me because I'm always going with the notion that every time, unless you use something custom, like if you use a custom Windows that doesn't allow you to have updates, you may end up having an update one day that wipes your grub or your system D or whatever you've got in place that allows you to dual boot. It can possibly wipe it out. So you're going in with a risk knowing that you could probably do a thing one day and just mess up. And so what you would be better off doing is you need to either choose one or the other or just run it in a virtual machine and see how it runs. And if you like it, then I would go with Linux. But I don't, my opinion, okay, this is my opinion, of course. I don't think anyone should dual boot. But having said that, there are reasons why you would dual boot. And that is if you want to use Linux but also have like the ability to do certain things on your computer that you can't do on Linux, yeah, maybe I would use it for that. So like, for example, if you needed to run like Photoshop or any of the other Adobe programs, or if you needed to use Microsoft Office or something like that, yeah, I would dual boot. Probably. Let's see, Hyprland runs is meant to run on the GPU. Yeah, I get that. You don't need Yay, you can use Peru, it's pre-installed. I did not know anything about Yay. Peru. I did not know anything about Peru. I might look into that. I mean, can you still install from the AUR with Peru? And can you still update all your packages with Peru? Because if that's the case, I'll just uninstall Yay. But I did not know that it came with Peru. The problem was that my DP port is connected to the D GPU, but Hyprland rendered on the iGPU. And sending the rendered image from the iGPU through the D GPU to the display seems to really suck. Gotcha. Don't like dual booting either. M1 could probably run virtual machines. Yeah, you could probably. I dual boot, but I keep my storage on a separate device or a separate drive. Yes. If you dual boot, that would probably be a good way to go too. Definitely have a separate drive that never hurts to have. Because I did something similar to that. Except actually, I think what I did was instead of having a separate drive altogether, I actually created a separate partition for it when I dual booted at the time. And that was just so that way I could access all my files, like no matter what operating system I was on. And I use OpenSUSE Tumbleweed, and I have to build my kernel and do you have to build your kernel with OpenSUSE? And do a lot of things I can achieve CachyOS responsive. Gotcha. It can run virtual, but also in Mac, you can move your home folder to an external SSD. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I also don't know what Box Vidra is. Yeah, no problem, Buggy. And if I didn't say this before, welcome to the stream. We're glad to have you. We're glad to have everybody here. I don't know what that message was. It just got retracted. Let's see. So Boxverta is a full Linux plus Wine desktop emulator for Android that lets you run Windows and Linux apps using Termux and proot. Interesting. Installing Zen browser on Arch. Really does take ages. Yeah, that was my problem. That was my problem with having Zen. It took forever, and there was no reason for it. Absolutely no reason. So when you install CachyOS, you get a lot simpler response time. Like the installation is a lot better with that. Yeah, you could do all of that with Peru and better than Yay. And also, you need to know if you download something with Peru, don't forget to press Q so you can continue downloading. Don't forget. Okay. I'll have to look into that. I didn't know I could do all that. I also didn't know that it was built in. So I'll write that down too. Yeah, it does. It takes a lot of time for Zen browser to download. Keeping operating systems on separate drives is more ideal than dual booting. I actually don't disagree with that. I think that is a good idea. And then that way you just plug in whatever hard or you well, it would be better to dual boot in that regard. But like just to unplug and plug back in your hard drives, yeah, that would be more ideal, I think. But having said that, like, do I really want to do all that work just to do that? I'm not sure. Not entirely sure. Oh, thank you, Stream Elements. It's about friggin' time you joined. I didn't think it worked. Thank you for subscribing. Much appreciated. Yeah, I'm supposed to have Stream Elements going on, but it sometimes doesn't show like it's supposed to. But yes, much appreciated. I guess I could. Well, no, that's for later on. Wow, I finally got through all those comments. Wow, I don't know. I'm just happy I have you guys here because I love talking about Linux. Have you tried making an image instead of having your config files and everything on GitHub? Making an image. No, I haven't tried that. I wouldn't know where to begin necessarily. The reason I had my config files on GitHub was so that way people could take a look at my coding and see how I was doing things in my tutorials. People could take a look and see like how far I've come in my progress. So I used it for stuff like that. And so I would say, images and cloning. Maybe that's it. Oh, gotcha. No, I don't think I've tried cloning though. I don't know. I will say that it has made my life easier that everything that I've got as far as my config files are concerned, that they're all on GitHub. Because if it wasn't for that, I would have to start from scratch. And when I came back to Linux, it took a lot of headache away from me. Image flashes the BIOS and config, but not the data, I don't think. Yeah, then I definitely have not done that. That seems a little too far out of my reach to do. I just don't think it's something that I would want to do anyway. Yeah, that would be an interesting question. What program do you use for that? See you everyone. It's getting late for me. Bye. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will see you later. We were glad to have you, and we hope to see you again real soon. I joined the Discord because why not? Yeah, I was just gonna make the statement at some point. I usually say it within the hour or like on the hour that I'm streaming. I usually talk about like my Discord server, just so that way in case like anyone, if anyone ever needs to get in contact with me, or you guys want to um, have a discussion about Linux, or like you need help with something, or you want to push your risings or your projects that you're working on for Linux, you can do all that in the server. So I mean, there's a lot of benefits to joining the server. It's really great to have you here as well. It's been great having everyone here. It's been a really nice discussion. We have went from talking about um, cloning to um, talking about Gen. Well, yeah, we did talk a little bit about Gen 2. That's what it was, Nix OS. We talked a lot about Nix OS. Macrium Reflect is what we use at work. Gotcha. But for a full cloning, I'd use Carafred. Yeah, I really want to try out the full cloning and see how that works out. I'm not going to need it anytime soon, but it would be nice to have a backup of everything, I think. I just wonder how long that would take though for someone to back up everything like that. And like if my I wonder if my external hard drive would also have to be running better FS. I just don't know. Oh, well, that's good to know. Yeah, I'm just giving myself a little breather. Oh, I meant keeping operating systems on separate drives rather than on the same drive. Yeah, I think I understood what you were saying when we were talking about that. Uh, I think that's I think that's best as well. The only thing was that I did not have like external. Well, the thing about laptops is that makes it difficult to install two SSDs. Like I've only got the one at the moment, so it wouldn't be ideal. But like if you had a desktop setup, then yeah, that would work out just fine. It just dumps the whole file system in chunks probably and saves it as files. Is how Clonezilla does it. Oh, I guess that's what y'all mean when y'all talk about um like increments maybe. Uh oh, you put XFC under D. Why, man? It's very nice and customizable. Uh no, this was well. First of all, this is not just D tier. This is I'd rather use Windows. Um, which really I should just put I would rather use Chrome OS when it comes down to it. I had the reason why it is ranked that low is because I ran T2 Linux with XFCE. That's the only time I've ever used XFCE was with T2 Linux, and it was a difficult process. Which later on I found out it's not T2 Linux is not a good thing for like installing desktop environments and stuff like that. So for me, when I did it, I just had a really ugly experience with it. I was able to somehow install a like I was able to install a desktop environment, and XFCE was the only thing I could install. And at the time, I thought it was ugly, but I think that was also because I was limited to what I could do with it. So that was also something that I should have kept in mind. Maybe I just didn't give it a fair shake, but that's why I did that. Let's see. It can get thrown in any file systems. Got an external ext4. I'm thinking of desktops. Yeah. So XOCE, like I said, I don't think I gave it a fair shake. I think it was just because of what I was using, which was the T2 Linux. I don't know. I would, the next time I install something that has an XFCE option, I'll probably end up trying it out once again just to see if it is going to be something that I like. If you dual boot by partitioning the same drive, you can create an additional EFI partition as well. You don't have to share the same EFI partition. EFI, why does that sound familiar? I think that's how you boot into the system, if I'm not mistaken. So, no, I get that. Oh, Arthurez, welcome back, buddy. Thanks for hanging out with us. For me, Cinnamon goes to mid-tier for the lack of Wayland support. Gnome and KDE, a pretty nice, correct spot in my opinion. Okay. Cinnamon, I think, was great. Yeah, they don't have Wayland support right now. I think it was great if you are running Linux Mint. But, yeah, I definitely understand why it would be put into mid-tier. Yeah, when I do these tier lists, by the way, these are just my opinions, by the way. So I don't want people to feel like this is what you have to do, This is just how I've experienced Linux. You should play a game or something while you read chat. I don't know. I mean, what do you want to see? Because we've been playing games on this channel, but it was mostly to test out the game. We could play something. Right now, the only thing I've got installed is some of my NES games that that I own full copies of. I own the physical copies of my NES games that I've got. I could also play the Mega Man Legacy Collection. I could play Jurassic World, the Lego Jurassic World. But yeah, we play games sometimes. The reason why I have this up here is so that way people can take a look at my tier list and see what we're talking about, because the whole point of the discussion was about window managers and desktop environments. Let's see. Yeah, it's some UEFI stuff. What do you offer? What do you mean? What do I offer? Oh, did you get Proton GE running? No, I did not get GE running. I was told that I did not need to get GE. So I ended up not getting it. I did use the latest stable version of it. Oh, games. Yeah, so like I said, I only have Jurassic World installed and Mega Man Legacy Collection, and then whatever NES games that I've got. So like one that I'm thinking off the top of my head is Felix the Cat for NES. There's Super Mario Bros. 3. There's Solomon's Key. That was pretty good. I mean, I've got a lot of games. It's just a matter of what I want to install. Because, like, I was talking to somebody earlier today. I think it was with Lucky, as a matter of fact. I also have Magic the Gathering. So I don't know if anyone is interested in Magic the Gathering. I could also play that at some point. I just don't have it installed right now. Tomorrow is going to be a music production stream, and then I don't know what's going to happen Wednesday, but if I don't do it Wednesday, then Thursday I'll do like a Magic the Gathering thing going on. Agree with him. Cinnamon needs to support more things like Wayland and HDR because of their lack of Wayland support. That makes anyone with multiple monitors have problems with Linux Mint. Yeah, I also use multiple monitors, so I definitely understand that. I installed Proton Plus, and that way install the different Proton versions onto Steam and Lutris. Works great. You should give it a shot. Proton Plus. All right, we'll take a look into it. You can make it download easily by downloading Proton Plus. Okay, everyone's recommending Proton Plus. Okay. I don't know how to use multiple EFIs. When I delete a distro, I simply delete the Linux partition and use command prompt to delete the Linux entries in EFI. Okay, gotcha. Proton Up for managing Proton versions is pretty handy. It is a good software. Update Proton and Wine and install it for you. Yeah, well, I'll definitely check it out. I just don't want to do it on stream right now. But yeah, anytime, like, I'm just thinking about, like, stuff that I can do. Like, don't get me wrong, this kind of input is something that I need because I need to see what you guys want to see from me. So, like, we'll talk about Linux all day, but if you guys just want to see, like, me game as well, or, like, music production or drawing, I can do that too. The drawing streams haven't been really doing that good, but I've also been doing them at night, so that's probably also an issue. But yeah, gaming seems to be where it's at. Yeah, but do keep in mind that, like, I can only stream the game at like 30 FPS. So that might be a problem for people. Just because I'm limited hardware-wise. Polonium KWin script on Fedora. KDE works pretty good with multiple monitors. Using just Wayland, not too many bugs. Gotcha. Also, welcome to the stream. We also have another Toto. So I guess I could just call one Toto and then call the other one LM. Seems like a nice compromise. No, thank you. I'm good. Also, welcome back. I think I remember you. But no, I don't do that kind of thing. But yeah. Let's see. Oh, gotcha. We're still talking about dual booting. Yeah, dual booting. There's a lot to dual booting. There's a lot that I don't really quite understand about it. Let's see, as that can overwrite your grub files. Yeah. Yep, most definitely. What do you draw in? So up until I got my drawing tablet, because now I use a drawing tablet. Up until then, I used to use Inkscape for my vector graphics, because every piece of artwork that you see on my channel, like my logo, for example, I'm the one that draws it. So, like, I drew my logo, and I did it in Inkscape. However, Oh yeah, and then there's also GIMP for photo editing, but then I use something called Krita. I'm still new to Krita. Um, so I use Krita at the moment for my drawing. In fact, if you guys want, I can pull up my drawings. I would just have to plug in my tablet though. Um, oh, did you hear about games being able to cost more than $60? I did not hear about that. Would surprise me if it's less. Gotcha. Yeah, Krita is pretty good so far. I don't know. I'm just running into like a learning curve, like trying to figure out the software for it, or trying to figure out everything about the software is what I meant. So yeah, it's I don't know. I still like it though. I think I think I feel differently about raster files now because I used to be completely against raster files, but like now that I've got this drawing tablet, like it makes things a lot easier. Yeah, games definitely do cost money. Absolutely. Um, yeah, games are really expensive on consoles in general. Yeah, dude, I remember when, um, like Resident Evil 7 came out. Like I watched everyone play that game back. This was back in like 2018 or something like that, and I used to watch like a bunch of people play that game. That game was like $60. Now it's only 20, and sometimes you can get a discount on it. But like I thought it was an interesting game. I think it was I don't think it was called Biohazard. What was it called? It was like Village maybe or something like that. But it was definitely Resident Evil 7. But like yeah, they definitely cost money for sure. I usually just wait to get it when it's like down to $20 if I'm going to get the game. Uh let's see, never heard of multiple EFIs. I'm fairly new with dual booting. Yeah, dual booting, I the only thing that I really know about dual booting comes down to what tutorial I've watched on it. Other than that, I don't really have a lot of experience with dual booting. I know that I've did it once, and I did not really care for it all that much, but I did it for a little while. Yeah, Village something. I can't remember what it was. But like and then they came out with a Resident Evil that was like this big titty busted goth chick or whatever. And I'm just like, wow, dude. Y'all made this character so impossible. Like, yeah, there are women that are built like that, but like rarely will you come across people that are like that. I don't know. Games can be funny though. But no, I am gonna be limited on what games that I can play. Just because um I have limited hardware. I'm trying to save up now to um I'm trying to save up for a better computer so that way I can do more games and stuff like that. Because like I'm very happy with my Linux system. It's just my hardware now. Because like I have optimized it as much as I could, but I can only play games at like 30 FPS now, unless it's something simple like retro games. Uh, let's see. Jokes aside, the price has kind of stagnated for a while. I remember my mom paying $50 for Halo 3 back when I was 10, so I guess they haven't gone up that much. Yeah, I think what it is that like uh there's more of a demand for gaming now. I will say there's more of a demand for all these nice looking games that you can get. Whole budget went into physics. The Gentoo Wiki is a good resource for EFI. Arch Wiki probably is as well. Okay, gotcha. What games do you like? I like Portal 1 and 2 and Celeste. I think I have Portals 1 and 2. I've never played them before. But I do have Portal, I think. At least Portal. I don't know about Portal 2. I think I got Portal 1. I'm on Claire's Expedition 32 or whatever. Gotcha. Let's see. If you have the time and curiosity, it's good to learn about bootloading when you want to rather than when you have to. I don't disagree with that. I think it is absolutely good to learn when you want to, you know. I hate how my MacBook burns my legs. Bro, I think that's going to be any laptop that you use, because like mine does get pretty hot too. Not as hot though, I will say. Not as hot as like I guess other things that I've used in the past, but it does get warm. Gaming has gone normie. Yes, I would agree with that too. True game budgets today are crazy. So the GPU that I'm running is a UHD. It's an Intel UHD graphics. It's like runs at 0.75 megahertz or something like that. It when I play Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, I can get 30 FPS when I'm not streaming, but I can only get 20 when I am streaming. It is this computer was made for light gaming. So I don't know how to make it better for the graphics card. Like if I could overclock my graphics card, I would love to, but it is Intel and I don't know what to do about that. So I'm going to go ahead and answer this question too. Also, welcome, Null. Glad to have you here. What are your specs? So I am running a N100 Intel processor. It's quad core running at 3.4 gigahertz or up to 3.4 gigahertz processor speed. Got a terabyte for a SSD. Got 16 gigs of RAM. And when I play my games, none of my RAM is being utilized. None of my CPU is being utilized for some reason. It all goes straight to the GPU. Gotta go. Thanks for the stream. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. We're glad to have you here, and we'll see you again some other time. Let me get to some of these other ones. Portal is fun. Please play it. You will love it. I mean, I can't guarantee that I'll be able to run it, but I'll try it out this week, see if I can get it running, and if I can, we'll try it out and go from there. See if I can run it. It'll be a good test. So Portal and MTG. I just can't guarantee it right now. Let's see. I already had to learn. Okay, that was for somebody else. I hate fanless laptops. They overheat so much. Yeah, mine's got quite a few fans in it. There's no Thunderbolt for external GPU enclose. Gotcha. Yes, the Intel N100. Yeah, I believe it is called Alder Lake or something like that. You cannot make those integrated Intel GPUs any better, I am afraid. If it's a laptop, there is nothing to do in that aspect. Yes, it is a laptop, and you are right. There is nothing to do, which is why I'm trying to save up for a laptop that will have a really good graphics card. I'm going to need help in that aspect and trying to figure out what laptop to get and then save up the money to get that laptop. But it's going to take a little while because I only get paid so much every 2 weeks, and then I have to put so much back for it and everything. So it's a whole headache. But, you know, I am trying. So try Vulkan instead of OpenGPL. I think Jurassic World is running Vulkan. I know that it when it first launched, it was loading, it was processing the shaders with Vulkan or Vulkan shaders or something like that. So I don't know if it is running uh Vulkan, but I'll check and see. I thought it was though. Portal 1 is probably doable, pretty old by now. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. Like I've never played it before, but I think I've got Portal. We could do something like that. Since Portal 1 and 2 are older games, they might not run as well on Linux due to it being make for like Windows 7. It runs well on 10 and 11. Gotcha. I mean, we'll see. I can run Portal on my ThinkPad pretty well. It's got an AMD 6650 with integrated graphics. Gotcha. About 45 FPS average. It was like $350 refurbished. It's actually not that bad. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe just get something that's like refurbished, but like just get something that has like a really good graphics card in it. N100 is still pretty new. Yeah, it is pretty new. I don't have to worry about my GPU. It's just my graphics card. Like if I could just get my games to take more of my RAM and possibly more of my CPU, that would be one thing. But when I do my tests for games, I don't notice anything as far as like it using anything other than my GPU, because my GPU, and what's weird about my GPU is that it'll sit around 60 or 70% usage, but then my frame rate will go down, and I don't understand why that is, because I'm not going the full 100%. So who knows? Portal will likely run great on that. I imagine it being like Half-Life 2 on my old laptop. Okay. Intel 355 Alder Lake, take PlayStation 2 emulation like a champ. It's the 8-core variant of your CPU. Ooh, fancy. I think that's really good. I like those odds. The low FPS while you are streaming might be related to bus/memory bandwidth rather than GPU power. So then the question would be, how do I fix that then? If that's the issue. Because I would love to be able to get my games more optimized, because I think it could run the 60 FPS. Like if I'm watching videos in 60 FPS, there's no reason why I'm fluctuating in my FPS. Like for some reason it just does. And I don't know why that is. That's what I'm trying to figure out. But right now, as it is, I can only do 30 FPS when I'm streaming and when I'm playing games. And if it's not retro games, then it definitely has to be at 30 FPS. Sometimes I can run 60 FPS. It just depends on what I'm doing. Maybe an external GPU is the play. Can I get an external GPU for a laptop? If so, yeah, you might be right. I may have to do some research on that. External GPU for laptops. And then that way I wouldn't have to upgrade my laptop. Because don't get me wrong, I love my laptop. My laptop's running great. I just, ThinkPads are the Linux version of the MacBooks. Fair enough. No, fair enough. I would agree to an extent. Alder Lake is crippled to one RAM channel. Okay, gotcha. Refurbished/used laptops are a great way to get a cheap and powerful laptop. Just don't get anything with NVIDIA, especially older ones. Will save a lot of headaches. Good to know. I will definitely be doing some research and seeing what I can do. Because I need some sort of plan as far as what it is that I'm going to do, different games uses hardware differently. No, I think that's a good tip. Let's see, maybe OEM TLP watt limit with the Intel N100. So here's the thing about the N100. I have disabled C states and I have disabled speed shift technology. There's a few other options that I had, but it slows down my computer if I don't have them enabled. So like I disabled those two things and it made my computer go so much faster, so much more smooth and responsive. So yeah, there are USB to PCIe enclosures, but you are limited to X4. I do have a USB-C port, so that could work out. The only issue is like, well, no, actually that wouldn't be an issue. Never mind, because I could just plug it into the external and go from there. Yeah, I'll definitely have to look into that. Is a stationary out of the question? If I knew what a stationary was, maybe. The only thing that is out of the question is a desktop. Like I would rather not have a desktop. But like if I'm gonna let's see, external GPUs are doable. It just depends on your laptop if it's going to be compatible. Okay, so that is definitely good to know. I just don't know if it's going to be compatible. You know, I have no idea. That's the only thing about it. No, I mean, I've had a desktop before, and I'm trying to sell my desktop as it is. I think, like, I got to a point in my life where I just want something that is portable. So, like, I would rather, like, when I'm not streaming, I would like to sit in bed with my laptop. So that's kind of why I went with the laptop originally. But that's not to say that desktops aren't great. I think they're awesome. They're just not something I want to use anymore. An external GPU in a laptop is a discrete GPU, such as having an NVIDIA chipset. They are on board and usually a mobile version of the chipset. Okay, gotcha. I refuse to desktops too. I move around too much. Okay. Razer Core X Chrome external GPU enclosure for Thunderbolt 3 laptops. You can get laptops with plug-in graphic adapters, but they are not mainstream and an expensive way to do it. Okay. Gotcha. Oh, now that I'm all caught up, I can give myself a little break. Oh snap! We've come on the 3rd hour mark. That's crazy. Yeah, if anyone would like to get in contact with me at some point, I will say the Discord. You can join the Discord for that. You can join for a bunch of other things. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you really enjoy my content, consider subscribing today. And back to Linux. It's $200, not that cheap without a GPU. Gotcha. I went with best of both worlds. I have a comfy PC setup and a gaming laptop. Linux installed onto an external SSD so I can just pop my installation onto any PC. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, so it seems like one of two options is going to have to happen. I either get a computer that will have a good graphics card in it, or I just get an external GPU and see how I can run that. But if it's only going to be compatible with certain things, then I don't know what to do. Do you have another system you could stream gameplay from? No, at the moment I don't. That would be where the SteamOS would come in handy, though. I see those external GPU stands are kind of expensive. Yeah. That's without the GPU and power supply. No, yep, rip wallet, absolutely. I get that 100%. I forgot that you're also going to need a power supply for that too, so an external GPU might be a little expensive. Uh, I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like if I've got Intel CPU, like what's going to be a good graphics card to go with it? Like my thing would be I don't think I would be able to use an AMD, for example. Uh it Optiplex, 10th gen Intel, 1650, and you got something going, or Quadro T400. Gotcha. Depending on how good you want the games to look, you might be better off getting a new laptop or build a budget mini ITX PC for cheap and have that as your gaming rig. Um, yeah, I would be better off getting a new laptop, I feel. Um, the only thing is that as long as the stream, like as far as people watching goes, as long as they're fine knowing that I'm playing games at 30 FPS, I don't have a problem. It's just if you would prefer to see it at 60 FPS, that's another story. Because otherwise I am happy with my laptop. That's the only issue that I've got is the GPU. Um I um I wouldn't go any higher than 60 FPS. So like I don't need anything too intense. I could go with a cheap graphics card. It just all depends. You can DIY an external GPU enclosure for super cheap. I haven't done it, but I know it's completely doable. Yeah, no, I totally get that. I think it could also be doable. I think it could as well. I'll just have to do more research is the thing. Just do more research, see what comes up. Yeah, just taking another mini break here. Let's see, probably a mini ITX then, so you can run the stream in your laptop and play a mini ITX on something like that. Cheap used GPU, AMD or AMD budget card. Yeah, but here's my question. So um are the like as far as the GPUs are concerned versus CPUs, can you actually run an AMD GPU if you are running an Intel CPU chip? Retro games, not Nintendo, they will clap you. Well, here's the so I do play retro games. That is my big thing. Is that I love playing retro games. So the only thing about playing retro games is I do play Nintendo from time to time, but I also own my games that I play. So I shouldn't have any problems with that. Um but yeah, so I'll definitely take a look into. Oh, so yes, they will work. Yeah, you can do that. Okay, everyone's saying yes, so that's good to know. Probably just go with like a AMD graphics card then. Figure out what's gonna do good. I think the other question that I've got too is that if you got like a dedicated graphics card, how are you gonna make the game run off the dedicated graphics card? Like, do you have to be on the same monitor that you plug it into, or Will it just use the GPU for that, or I'm just thinking of like how that would go. Cuz like I've had an ITX before, but it was like a desktop, and then it broke down on me at one point, so I had to buy a new computer. And that was my old computer. It was an HP, and I put in a 1050 Ti. Yeah, I put in a 1050 Ti, but it runs on the same wavelength as the integrated graphics card, or however you would call it. You can run the game on the laptop screen, but it will add a bit of latency from what I know. Gotcha. Ice WM, Best WM, fight me. No, I'm good. Like, I mean, whatever works for you, that's what I always recommend. By the way, welcome to the chat. Glad to have you here. Oh, you know what? I was actually talking about Neri earlier today. I've been hearing about Neri, which you can actually, as far as Neri's capabilities is concerned, you can achieve the same thing with Hyperland. But I personally don't like. Here's the thing: I see potential in Neri. Like, there's a specific audience for Neri. Don't get me wrong there. I don't like how it. I don't like how it functions. I don't like having a never-ending workspace. I would like to have like however many workspaces I want to work in, and have like as many windows as I want to have in that workspace, and just switch back and forth between them. Actually, I don't think you guys have ever seen my window managing setup here. Like, I could probably pop open a few terminals and then show you how I switch between one and the other. Maybe. Even something like an RX 580 would be good. They are pretty cheap and pretty powerful for their age. I think you can find them consistently for 70 to 80 bucks. Ooh. Let me write that down. Let me see if that would be worth it. So the RX 580. Let's see. Neri is using GNOME components. Gotcha. Yeah, I like certain GNOME products. Yeah. What's a window manager or desktop environment? So it is a thing that you use to like show your taskbar, to show how your windows are going to be positioned on your computer. Just basically the look and feel of your computer is controlled by your window manager or your desktop environment. Probably the best way to answer that question. Steam Remote Play is where the game runs on one system with the picture streamed to the system you are using, like an RDP session. Gotcha. GNOME is bloat. I actually don't disagree with that. And also, welcome to the chat. Remember, there exists a RX 580 2048SP and a real 5X80. Don't get the 2048. No 2048. Gotcha. 1660 Super should be pretty cheap. All right, we'll write that one down too. For me, DWM is the best. It only consumes 20 megabytes of RAM. Well, DWM, from what I understand, is a suckless product. And I don't care for having to compile everything. So that's the reason why I don't use DWM. But it goes in F tier because if I had to choose something, I would just learn how to work with DWM. I would just learn it. But in general, I just don't. Don't really care for it all that much. Let's see. If you're running Linux, then AMD GPUs have superior dedicated drivers for that. Yeah, I think the next time I get a graphics card, it's going to be for is going to be AMD, which I'll probably just end up getting it like with my next paycheck. The way that everyone talks, like I can just buy a like a external graphics card and then just plug and play. That's really nice, actually. Yeah, because I've had NVIDIA before, and NVIDIA worked for the most part. It depended on what distribution I was on for the most part, because it depended on whether or not I had to install more things on it. But yeah, I would probably go with AMD. In terms of optimization, is the best, of course. You have to compile everything for that reason. For after that, it is super easy to use, same as Hyperland, and it is so customizable. I would not quite put it in the same category as Hyperland. Hyperland is much more simplified. I mean, yeah, you could argue that it's great for optimization if you compile everything. Sure, it's just not for me. I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to do that. Um, it's the reason why I don't run Gentoo. I just don't want to compile. I have no interest in it. Let's see. I have no idea how the Intel Arc works on Linux nowadays. So I mean, I'm running Intel stuff, but like it's very limited as far as what you can do with it. Like you can't really do a whole lot. Like there's absolutely nothing you can really do in terms of the only thing that you can really do is like look in your BIOS and see what your GP or your CPU is doing, because you can't really do anything with your GPU. I just hope that one day there's tools out there that will help with that. So, yeah. In terms of how much time it takes to compile, yes, Gentoo sucks. But in the case of DWM, it compiles so fast. I mean, yeah, true. It doesn't take nearly as long to compile. You still have to compile. I don't like the idea of having to compile. I mean, here's the thing. Like I always say, if it works for you, then absolutely go with it. And it sounds like you're having a really good time with DWM, and I'm happy for you that you have a good work environment for that. I'm just saying that for me, it's not really something that I enjoy doing. Just that's why I put it where I put it. You need to have a Thunderbolt port or M2 slot free to use the external GPU, and if you go the M2 way, then you will need to open the laptop to put a adapter in that will go out to that GPU. I do not understand. I'll do some research though. So Thunderbolt, because I may not be able to do the if I have to open up my laptop, which I don't want to do, then I'm not going to be able to do the external. Intel Arc is the dedicated gaming GPU series for Intel. They are pretty powerful and pretty cheap, but I have no idea if they're good on Linux. Gotcha. Which distro are you using? No, it's not Arch. It is actually CachyOS. But like here's the thing about the laptop. If I can find one that's like cheap enough, I'll probably just go ahead and get a laptop. Like just get one that's like maybe refurbished or something like that. But I've got to know what system is going to be good for that. Uh let's see. Do you have a stream schedule? So the best way to answer that is I can tell you how I've been streaming. I won't be streaming at night, but usually it can be like if I do end up streaming, it's usually anywhere between 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., somewhere around that area. I can't guarantee when I will wake up to have the stream, but I normally will. I normally will stream when I wake up, but as far as like when I wake up and start the stream, I just start whenever I feel like it. But it's usually within that time frame, so you don't have to worry about me doing it at night because I work at night. So, maybe I should have a stream schedule though. Maybe I should set something like to start at this specific time in the day. Maybe I'll think on that. So set up. Yeah, don't worry about the coughing. So set up stream schedule. Yeah, I'll do that, and I'll post it in the Discord, and then I'll just let everyone know in future streams what I plan to do as far as my stream schedule. What I'm trying to figure out is like what is the best time during the day to stream for everybody, because it seems like if I do it in the morning, like, because like I did a stream the other day that was like at 6 a.m. for me. And then I did today's stream at like 8 a.m. So it's just a matter of like finding that good timing where everyone's available. M2 is the slot you'd put an NVMe drive in. Gotcha. Well, CachyOS is based on Arch. It's almost the same. I mean, fair enough. Like, I won't argue with that. Like, that's pretty much correct. Like, the only difference is that, like, there's more optimization for performance. M2 way isn't really viable if you want portability. Imagine always having to open it if you want to go the external GPU way. Make sure your laptop is compatible. Most aren't. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. A day ago, I found a refurbished laptop at around €300, and it had a i7 9th Gen, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a GTX 1650. Wow. Beware of getting ThinkPads. You might wake up wearing thigh-high socks. I wonder, like, okay, so here's the reason why I had that pause. I had that pause because I was thinking of, like, the time that Brody Robertson came on a video and he was, like, doing Ubuntu or something like that. It was like some sort of thing like that, and he had like these cat ears, and like he pulled up those I think they were thigh highs, or maybe they were calf highs, I don't know, but he pulled his socks up and they were like pink and white striped, and I was just like, what are we doing? This was like one of his April Fool's videos, mind you. I just thought that was hilarious. Like it seemed like every year just about he was always doing something for like April Fool's Day. Let's see. Beware. Oh yeah, I've already read that one. Acer Nitro. I actually read something about the Acer Nitro not too long ago. Yeah, it has that 450 in it. I've been hearing a lot about that 450, and I'm interested in getting that 4050. Aside being Acer not terrible, forced internet meme. Oh yeah, no, absolutely, it is forced. Yeah, no, I completely get that. You got to be severely online to know. That is a matter of fact. You do. Wow. Just doing some stretches. Don't mind me. The Acer Nitro is the cheapest plastic ever. If that's no big deal, then sure. Okay. Uh, yeah, I think my biggest thing is making sure that it has a good graphics card. I'm not like I'm not gonna sit here and say that like I'm not gonna use an Acer or whatever. I just want to make sure that it has a good graphics card is the biggest thing. And something that's like relatively cheap. And what I mean by cheap is I'm talking about anywhere from like uh $100 to like $200 maybe, some or $250, something like that. Something that I can do during my next paycheck. You just joined the Discord server. Thank you for joining. Uh, Also, if you'd like, also you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can. The thing about the Discord is that it's a great place to get in contact with me if you need to get in contact with me outside of YouTube. Um, and you can do all kinds of stuff in there. Like you can ask for help, you can post your risings or current projects you're working on. You can talk with other Linux YouTubers or Linux users, because there's not really any Linux YouTubers yet in my server. Um, I don't really work with a lot of Linux YouTubers. I think it's just because most of them don't know me or don't care to know me that well. I think the only one that I really know that we talk to each other like once in a blue moon would be like Just a Guy Linux. I think he's a really great person. Um, but other than that, I don't really talk to a lot of YouTubers that do Linux. Uh, let's see, Voke, I think that's how you pronounce it. Welcome to the stream. What's that next to Hyperland and S tier? That is Awesome WM. And I also forgot to say that Qtile goes in A tier. I forgot to say that because Qtile is not included in this for some reason. But yeah, yeah, yeah. You pronounced it right. Okay, cool, cool. We are certainly glad to have you here then. Oh yeah, I've heard of Awesome WM. Yeah, I used to use Awesome WM when I was on X11. I used it when I was on uh, Debian, and then when I moved to Arch, I used Awesome WM for a little while. And then when I took my break from Linux and then came back, I started using Hyperland, and I was also using Waybar at the time. So then I found that I was doing really good with it, and I was happy with it from then on. So no, I totally get that. The only Tyler I've tried so far is Hyperland. It's absolutely amazing. Yes, it definitely has a lot of good things about it, I would say. I would recommend it to people that don't want to spend a lot of time tinkering in their config files. That being said, you do have to tinker quite a bit with your Waybar if you want customizations like I've got. Otherwise, it's just like Hyperland is more like, oh, we've already got all these variables set up. You just need to figure out whether you want true or false, what number you want for this section, or what should go here or whatever. So, you know, that's just the thing. I uploaded my rice on Discord. Nice. I will take a look at it after the stream. I'm glad we're moving away from X11. I know some people don't like it, but for my multi-monitor setup, X11 sucks. Yeah, I don't know. Like I for the longest time I used to be one of those people that was like I don't want to move away from X11, but then I started using Hyperland more than I had in the past, and I really liked it. And so I'm like, I'm happy with my system now. Let's not rock the boat here. But yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. I think there's a lot of pre-made configs for Hyperland which are quite usable out of the box. You just got to know how to get them set up. Yes, that is true. And you can also go to my GitHub if you are interested in the way that my Hyperland Waybar configuration looks. I updated it probably, it's been a few days ago. Definitely been a few days ago since I've done that. But I updated my files. So if you want, you're more than welcome to take a look. And if you find inspiration in them, then you can. I think the only thing that's not updated is like I changed the CPU monitor so that way I could look at what the average frequency is looking like. And the frequency is actually doing better now that I've done the adjustments that I needed to make on it. Same here. I don't get why people latch on to X11 so hard. It's from the 80s, man. No, X11, I just liked it because I didn't think that I could do better than Awesome WM. Because I thought it was more customizable than Qtile at the time. Because there was more that I could do with it. And then I came across like some stuff that I could do on Waybar. And I'm like, this is a lot more customizable than ever before. So, that's kind of why I was like, well, I don't care about X11 anymore. But like, I still recommend certain things for X11 in case there's people who still use it. X11 is unusable for me as well. I have a high refresh rate multi-monitor setup. Gotcha. We'll check it out. I love looking at people's rices. Yeah, definitely. You can feel free to join the server. There's people that will post their risings, and just go from there. I personally try to go for like a neon rainbow type look. But yeah, it's all great. X11 is more stable than Wayland. I think in some aspects, yes, it is more stable. People use what they know. People will gravitate towards things that they just know work. Like, there's some things that don't really work. Like, for example, like OBS browser docs don't really work that well, which is sad, but I mean, I guess I'll get over it because like I think it was part of the reason why my OBS used to crash, because when I was streaming, my OBS would just crash randomly and I wouldn't know why. Oh, you're back, Lucky. Welcome back. I just hope you don't get in trouble while you're at work, but we're glad to have you back. Same as the majority of the distros. Yeah, probably. Yeah, for some legacy apps, X11 is probably better, but X-Wayland works fine for most things. Screen sharing can be hit and miss as well. Yeah, so screen sharing, I haven't had to do a lot of that. Well, I haven't had to really do that on Discord because I don't really do voice calls anymore. I mostly just do stuff on my server, but I haven't tried to screen share, but from what I've seen so far of screen sharing, I'm able to I could start like a virtual camera and then from my OBS and then do what I need to do with it if I need to screen share. That's what's great about having the virtual camera. So, I mean, that's what I would do. Instead of screen sharing like completely, I would just use like a virtual camera if I were you. It actually works really well. If you need to screen share on Discord, the Vesktop client works perfectly. Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard about Vesktop. I've used Vesktop. I don't remember it all that well. I think I remembered that it was good for audio sharing too. But for audio sharing, I just use QPW Graph. Like, yeah, it's going to come through my mic input, but I mean, the thing is that I know my way around certain things in Linux, and so like using a virtual camera and using QPW Graph, those are the ways that I've learned how to get the most out of, like, if I ever had to screen share or do whatever. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it, but it kind of fixed all the issues I had with the official client. Yeah, I think that's what Vesktop aims to do. Is it fixes a lot of the issues that they were having. Like I said, I just haven't had the need to use anything. Yeah, if your current setup works for you, that's fine though. Yeah, like I said, I haven't had to use it in a while, so I wouldn't know. I'll only know once I have to use it. But we'll just see. We'll just see from there. Yeah, I mean, in fact, that's normally what I would tell people though. Like, if it works for you, then use it. I think that is a good philosophy to go by. Yep, just doing some more stretches. I've been sitting here for about 4 hours. I normally sit here for like 2 hours. All right, gonna go now. Cheers, dude. Well, it was nice chatting with you. I hope you will continue to join us in future streams, and we'll see you around. It was nice having you. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of some other stuff that I might be missing in that conversation. Yeah, as far as Vesktop goes, I think it's good for some people. I just don't know if you could use. Oh, I can't remember what that was. I just lost my mind. Never mind. Man, it is starting to hit noon now. So yeah, probably it won't be too much longer before I get off myself. Uh, I can either get off now, or I can spend like 15 more minutes with you guys, and then I gotta head on out so I can get some rest for work tonight and everything. Um, but yeah. Oh, you know what's going to be really great too with the external graphics card? I just thought about that. So, like with OBS, I would be able to stream with the GPU, and that would allow me to get the 60 FPS as well. But I think I need to go with something that's like AMD as well. I'm glad I thought about that. I'll still have the streams at around 720p though. I think it would be better. Um, just because. Um, like especially for Twitch. Oh yeah, you're gonna get an external. I'm either getting an external or I'm getting a laptop, another one that like has a good GPU in it. It's just a matter of what I'm gonna do when I get my paycheck, and like how much I'm gonna be able to put towards a new GPU or a computer. Um, Are you going to use the one that connects to your M2 slot? No, no. If it's possible, I want to be able to use one that's like USB, but I don't know if that's possible. I don't want to have to open my laptop just to connect the GPU to it, and I don't even know if it's got that capability. But I would like to have one that I can just plug in through like USB-C or regular USB, something like that, if that's even possible. But if not, I'll probably just go for like a laptop that's got a good GPU in it. Probably get one that's kind of refurbished or whatever. Yeah, don't use the M2 Thunderbolt all the way, but make sure it's possible before sinking your money into it. Yeah, that's definitely what I need to do. I just need to do more research on it and go from there. So that's what I'm gonna do. Because probably what's gonna be the best thing to do, because I will be doing this through Amazon. By the way, I'll probably just like look through Amazon and see like what's my best bet for it. Vogue, thank you for subscribing. Much appreciated. We're happy to have you in our little family. Yep, the family's growing, y'all. The fam is growing. But yeah, like I was saying before in the stream, got a few things planned. This week we're gonna try out Magic the Gathering. We're gonna try out Portal, because everyone's wanting to see Portal. We're gonna do music production tomorrow, probably, unless I just decide I want a game. So we can look forward to that. If you like, I can look as well and send you options that I find. Yes, that would be great. So my budget is like anywhere from like 100 to like 250, somewhere around that area. I don't know if it's doable, but that's my budget at the moment. If I'm doing it off of one paycheck. If I'm having to do it from multiple paychecks, I'm going to have to save up and go from there. But I would like to be able to get a decent, like, it doesn't have to be like something that gives me like 120 FPS. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for something that'll give me like 60 FPS no matter if I'm streaming or not. Something that will run very well for that. That's all I'm really looking for. But yeah, thank you. Any help would be great for that. Because like right now, I'm content. I'm pretty content with my setup because I can do most everything that I need to do. But it's just like if I'm going to start gaming on this channel, then like yeah, I'm gonna need to do something unless people are satisfied with like that. Yeah, 250 would be like the most I could spend off of one check. Just because I've got like bills and stuff that I have to pay for. So it's just a matter of if I'm gonna have to save up through multiple checks or if I can get it from the one check. That's generally what I'm going with. Yeah. By the way, a question regarding audio production. Are you able to use pure Jackal and Wayland without messing everything up? With Pipewire, I can't get the best latency without X runs. I don't use Jack. I don't care for Jack all that much. It seems really complicated to me. I use Pipewire, and I think it's also got Pulse Wire in it too, or no, Pulse Audio in it as well. But yeah, I use Pipewire, and the latency's working like really great for me. Like audio on Linux, like a lot of people crap on audio for Linux. For me, it is actually much better on Linux than it is Windows. Like the fact that I'm using QPW to route to my speakers so I can hear myself. I'm hearing myself in real time, and I can't do that on Windows. Like, that is just pure out impossible unless you're using something like Voicemeeter, which takes forever and uses a lot of resources, and I just don't like that. Wonder how viable remoting into a desktop is and streaming from it. I don't know. That's a good question. Audio on Linux is great. The routing possibilities are awesome. Had no idea that was ever possible when using Windows. Yeah, you could use Voicemeeter to do that. I just wouldn't recommend it anymore, simply because you can do it better on Linux. But if you have to use Windows, that's going to be your best bet, is to use something like Voicemeeter. But the only thing is that, like, once you purchase it, you're purchasing it just for that computer. So every time you upgrade your computer or whatever, you have to repurchase it, which I don't like that all that much. Yeah, you can definitely do that. I remote play games all the time. And with Bridge, I've had really good success with Windows plugins. Even the heavy ones work awesome. Yeah, so I don't have a lot of plugins that I use in my music production. I think there's like one VST that I haven't been able to get to work in Linux, and that is it's a saxophone plugin, so I had to go with an alternative. Which software? Just Steam? Or what is it called? Sunshine. I'm not sure what you're asking there. That could be for somebody else, though. Maybe not for me. Yeah, just giving myself another breather. Nothing to worry about here. Oh, that was towards Lucky. Oh, okay, gotcha. No worries. So we are just about to wrap up here. Is there any other things that we should mention? Because I think we've talked about all that we can talk about with, like, the laptops and the GPUs and stuff like that. Is there anything to add to, like, the discussion? I think the original discussion, however, was on window managers and desktop environments. I think that has kind of gone out of the way. Steam does have a remote play, but you must be connected through your home Wi-Fi, so that doesn't work on the go. You want to get a KVM, and that'll allow you to remote into your PC. Okay. The Voicemeeter option actually sucks. I tried it. Wasn't intuitive at all. On Linux, it's really simple to just route stuff in QJack CTL. Yeah, no, I agree with that. It just comes down to what is it that you're using. So, like, if you're on Windows, Voicemeeter is going to be your best bet. If you're on Linux, like, I use QPW Graph. You use QJack CTL. That works as well. So, those are the ones that I would recommend. Well, I don't know anything about QJack, but I would recommend QPW Graph if you need to do stuff like that. The topics tend to spiral here and there. Yeah, no, I get it. And that's a good thing, though. I feel like as long as we're having discussions about Linux, I don't really care how the chat goes. I have enjoyed talking with you guys. Like, yeah, we may bounce off of topics here and there, but, like, you know, at least we talked about the main point of it. So, like, I don't care. Like, it's been great having you guys here. I mean, that's just the way it's gonna go. Like, I like the discussions that we have here. I want to continue to have these discussions. I think they're really great. So let's keep it up. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and head out for today, you guys. Tomorrow we will be back. We'll talk Linux tomorrow. You guys can see my music production, what it's like, and all that good stuff. Um, like I said, I'll come up with some sort of schedule in Discord, which segues into Discord. For the last time in the stream, if you are interested, feel free to go to the link in the link tree in the description down below. Go join it if you'd like. You can always get in contact with me there. You can, you can talk with other Linux users. You can post your things, do all that fun stuff. And yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, if you like the stream, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you really like my content, consider subscribing. And I shall see you guys in the next one.